Live from the friendly confines of Eagle Field at Veterans Memorial Park, it's Tom Sox Baseball. Luke Stefanisco and Daniel Stein bringing you this action from this radio broadcast here in Harrisonburg. And, well, the rain stayed away, Daniel. We were a little bit worried earlier on that this game would not happen, but Tom Sox will play against the Turks. And this series split 1-1 on the season so far, and Harrisonburg certainly knows that. They're throwing their ace out on the mound, a guy that's had the Tom Sox number in Tim Tyler. But, Daniel, how can the Sox combat him today and find their way back over 500 for the first time this season?
Well, I think the key thing here, Luke, is that the Tom Sox know who they're going up against. Tim Tyler is someone who not only have the Tom Sox as a team faced in the entirety of this season, but also other guys who have played against Tyler at JMU. Tim Tyler playing in his home ballpark here at Eagle Field, but guys like Kyle Langley, Lane Duff, they've all played with this guy. They know what kind of player he's going to be, and so honestly, if just the Tom Sox are able to do their scouting, they should have a much better chance at getting some knocks against this kid as they did the last time they faced him.
Well, Tyler has pitched 2 appearances in the 2 games against the Tom Sox, and he has been nothing short of phenomenal. In those 2 appearances, he has pitched 7 innings against the Sox, allowing 1 hit, 2 walks, and striking out 14 batters. He earned the save on opening day against the Tom Sox after pitching 4 scoreless innings. So Sox are going to have their hands full. We'll take you through the lineup for Charlottesville to start off the day. Leading off for the Sox, Perry Hargett, the center fielder. Batting second, the first baseman, Hudson Luderman. In the 3-hole, the shortstop, Preston Gamster. In the 4-hole, James Lennelly, the right fielder. Batting 5th, the DH, Patrick Nias. Batting 6th, Kyle Langley. Actually, Langley the DH, Nias playing 3rd today. Batting 7th, Brock Clayton, the catcher. In the 8-hole, Walker Buchanan, the left fielder. And batting 9th for the Sox, Lee Sowers, the second baseman. Hargett in the box, Tyler on the mound. We are set for first pitch here in Harrisonburg as the first pitch is away, and that one misses down low with a fastball from Tyler. First pitch at 7:06 p.m. Hargett ahead 1-0 to Tyler. His next offering, a breaking ball, clips the strike zone for the first strike of his outing, so now 1-1 to the center fielder, Hargett. Tyler in his motion, the next pitch. Just missed off the outside corner with a fastball, a 2-1 count to the leadoff hitter.
Yeah, Perry Hargett, a guy who's had kind of a slow season offensively, but if he can start to lift the ball out into the outfield like he did at the end of last night's game, it'll be good things for him.
2-1 to Hargett is a fly ball into left field. The left fielder Schraft makes his way over and makes the catch. After that play, let's take you through the defensive alignment for the Turks. Out in left field, as we just mentioned, Jackson Schraft. In center field, Roman Trinidad. Philip Garcia in right field. Third base for the Turks, Gavin Grapuso. Shortstop, Josiah Seguin. Roman Evans at second, Seven Alameus, catcher. And then the new addition to the lineup for the Turks will be their first baseman in Jordan Jaffe.
Yeah, in summer ball, there's always a rotating cast of players, and so it's what keeps us on our toes, just making sure we have everybody down here.
1-0 count, and now Luderman flies one out to deep left field. Schraft back again, and in left center field, he makes the catch for the second out. So Tim Tyler seeing some hard contact here from the Tom Sox that we didn't really see a whole lot of during the first few games they saw with Tim Tyler.
Yeah, remember, this is a guy who's only given up 6 earned runs while he's struck out 34 in his extensive work in the VBL so far. So this is a good sign early that they're getting contact against him.
First pitch to 3-hole hitter Preston Gamster, clips the strike zone with a fastball on the outside. Gamster behind 0-1. So ominous clouds in the distance as Tyler delivers the 0-1 pitch. Gamster pops that one up down the right field line. Jaffe's going to give it a look near the fence, sticks the glove out, and makes an impressive catch. Had his eyes almost completely off the ball, but makes the play to retire Gamster and send the Sox down a 1-2-3. No hits, no runs, nobody on for Charlottesville after a half inning here. We'll go to the bottom of the first. This game still tied up 0-0. After a scoreless inning for the Tom Sox in the top of the first, they'll look to go defensively here behind the man from Mount St. Mary's, Eli DeRossi Citron. The fielding lineup for the Sox, as we already mentioned, Hudson Luderman at first, Lee Sowers at second, Preston Gamster at short, Patrick Neas at third, Brock Clayton behind the dish doing the catching, outing left, Walker Buchanan in center, Perry Hargett, and out and right, James Nunley. Leading it off for the Turks will be Jalen Evans, who had the Tom Sox number in the last ball game they played at Show Airport Field. An impressive 2 for 4 with one of the best hitters for the Turks that day. Squares on the first pitch and pulls back as the pitch goes high from DeRossi Citron.
Yeah, and Evans is just kind of your prototypical leadoff hitter, a guy who can get on base at a high clip. 277 average on the season, 43% of the time he's on base. He's also got almost 20 stolen bags as well.
Next pitch from DeRossi Citron clips the inside corner for strike one. So the count knotted up at 1-1. We have a pitch clock out in right center for the first time this season, which is something new to us. As Evans lines that one into shallow center, coming on is Hargett, and he makes the catch for out number 1. Haven't had many stadiums where they've even had the technological capabilities of a pitch clock, but here at beautiful Eagle Field, we got a pitch clock for us to see, so we'll know how much time our pitchers will have in this ballgame, which, again, this stadium's very cool in a lot of different ways, Daniel.
It is cool in a lot of different ways, and this is it's my first time here. I don't know about you, but it's a different step from Cho Airport Field, which is, of course, a high school field, so it's just going to be a different vibe here.
DeRossi Citron's first pitch to the 2-hole hitter, Gavin Grapuso, catches the inside corner for strike 1. In his motion, the next pitch to pop up, and I'll get into the stands.
Please return all foul balls to the
Entire baseball and softball facility here at James Madison University. We have a practice field over to our left. To our right is the softball field for the Dukes, and right in front of us, beautiful Eagle Field, which is probably the nicest turf facility we've seen this year. I know Winchester plays at Shenandoah University as DeRossi Citron's 0-2 offering goes up high, but JMU logo behind the plate and the JMU out in center field, it's hard to beat.
It's a nice field for sure, and the turf definitely helps on a night like this where there has been some rain all day.
1-2 from DeRossi Citron, nearly breaks into the strike zone, but maybe just misses outside a little bit, so a 2-2 count now for the man from Mount St. Mary's. Puso back in the box. DeRossi Citron's 2-2 offering. That one tapped right back off the screen and right towards our booth. May have gone actually in the window if the screen was not there. I wish that would happen.
Yeah, so we're just a little bit off to the left of being straight on from home plate, but with that high screen, I think it might be physically possible to get a foul ball in here, but it would be pretty difficult. 2-2
once more from DeRossi Citron. This one's nubbed out back behind third base. Neas in foul ground makes the catch for out number 2, and a good start for Eli DeRossi Citron. So now we'll see the 3-hole hitter, Josiah Seguin, a man that once led the league in RBIs, now second in the league in RBIs, but he's still a potent threat at the 3 spot in this Turks lineup.
This is just what makes the Turks a very good team. It's their ability to be all well-rounded as Seguin takes a strike, but it's guys like Josiah who are hitting over 330, and then you consider their pitching staff, which has plenty of good pitchers, just like Tim Tyler, who we're facing tonight.
The 0-1 from DeRossi Citron, grounded towards first. Luderman comes on, makes the catch. He'll wave off DeRossi Citron and take it himself for a 1-2-3 inning. So both pitchers, solid starts to start this ball game. 0-0 our score after one. We'll take a break and back with more baseball here from Harrisonburg. After a rapid start to this ball game, 8 minutes to go through one full inning. Tom Sox back at bat once again. James Nunnally to lead it off here in the top of the second. Tim Tyler, yet another scoreless inning against the Sox. And his first pitch to Nunnally misses inside for ball one. Tyler back in his motion, the 1-0 to Nunnally. That one misses outside again, so now 2-0 count to James Nunnally, who's been on a tear as of late for the Sox.
Yeah, a guy who just has become that top run producer. He's also shown off his power recently, too.
Breaking ball there from Tyler, and Nunnally just whiffs right through it for a 2-1 count now. And Tyler going to have to use that off-speed and breaking pitches as he has so effectively against the Sox to find some success tonight. Nunnally drives that one into the gap. Center fielder Trinidad back in right center, and he makes the catch for out number one. But I think certainly an encouraging sign for the Tom Sox so far is there has been hard contact off Tim Tyler early on, which is something that there really wasn't a whole lot of when they played him the last two appearances.
Yeah, especially when you consider you just go down Tyler's previous starts and look at strikeouts. You have most recently against Stanton, 5 strikeouts. Before that, 6. Before that, 10 strikeouts as Nias pops one up.
Third baseman Jaffe right next to the pitcher's mound makes the catch. And so 2 quick outs for Tyler again. And you already said this game's moving at a rapid pace. We didn't expect it to go faster, as we mentioned it on the broadcast, as typically it goes the other way. But now Kyle Langley, the JMU man, hitting at his own stadium where he played his 2 seasons of Sun Belt Conference baseball, with 2 outs here against his teammate Tim Tyler. The first pitch breaking ball from Tyler clips the zone for strike 1. Homecoming for a couple guys on the Tom Sox squad, Lane Duff, Alex Bingler, and of course Langley as he swings through an off-speed pitch there for strike 2. So now in an 0-2 count, Tim Tyler looking for his first strikeout of the ball game. His pitch, grounded back up the middle. Evans trying to get there on a dive, but he won't be able to get there, and it's a base hit single for Kyle Langley and the first base runner for the Sox in this ball game.
Yeah, it's interesting when you see Langley in that lineup against the lefty, and aside from the fact that he's playing in his home ballpark against his teammate, you would wonder why you would put him in there. Why would you DH a lefty against another lefty? But he's actually hitting .250 against right-handed or against left-handed pitching this season, which is not as bad as you would think for someone who's kind of the same platoon-wise, and that's just what he does. Langley just pokes one right up the middle, and this has been the Tom Sox offensive identity for the past couple of games.
So very similar situation. Now the lefty Brock Clayton in the box takes a fastball up at eye level for ball 1. Clayton and fellow Florida catcher, not from the University of Florida, but Miami, Evan Tavares have been a welcome addition to the Tom Sox squad. Really great defensively behind the dish for the Sox. Breaking ball there from Tyler on 1-0. Dips inside for ball 2. Clayton has shown off the power, has yet to collect a home run, but you see it in at-bats. He'll fly line drives deep into center and right field at Cho Airport Field, or he'll find the gap for a double. He's been effective for the Sox. He pops that one up into shallow left field. Seguin and Jaffe there, and Jaffe calls off Seguin to make the catch and retire the side. So the Sox get their first base runner of the game with Kyle Langley's homecoming starting off well, but it ends right after that with a pop-up from Brock Clayton. No runs after 1.5 for the Sox. We'll take a break and be back with the at-bats for the Turks right here on the Tom Sox Broadcasting Network.
For the Harrisonburg Turks, the first baseman, number 39.
Welcome back to the broadcast here from Eagle Field at Veterans Memorial Park in Harrisonburg. Turks, Tom Sox knotted up at 0 after a scoreless first, and Sox managed to finally get a hit on Tim Tyler. Couldn't find a way to plate the runner, Kyle Langley, with 2 outs. Now batting for the Turks will be Jordan Jaff, making his Turks debut. Was a very potent player for the University of Richmond in his 3 years. Batted over 300 from the time he stepped on campus as a freshman to the time he will transfer out as a junior. Committed to Liberty University to play baseball there next season. And 1-1 count, lines one to short. Gamster fields it on a hop. A nice play over to Luderman, who scoops it down low for out number 1.
Yeah, rolled a 6-3 there, and so far, it's just been everything has been put in play. So that this is, if you don't like strikeouts or 3 true outcomes, then this has been kind of the game for you, Luke. But so far, might be because of the cooler weather. It's not really that warm out right now because of the rain. That might be just amping everybody up.
Next pitch to the 5-hole hitter, Amari De Jesus, another guy that hasn't played against the Tom Sox this season. Swung on and missed for strike 1. The lefty in the box. He takes ball 1 up high. Teammates with Tom Sox catcher Evan Tavares at the University of Miami. This season in 3 games for the Hurricanes, batted .333. He takes a big hack at the 1-1 offering from Derasi Citron and can't connect, so now he's behind 1-2. So now the 1-2 pitch from Derasi Citron. This is inside. So 2-2 now for Eli Derasi Citron against Amari De Jesus, the DH. 2-2. Ground ball to Gamster at short, fields it on a hop once again, fires over to first. Luderman stretches out and in time makes the play.
It's almost the exact same play as the ball that Jaffe hit, as this is just kind of a line drive one-hopper over to Gamster, who couldn't really step into his throw, but he was able to put enough on it to get the ball to Luderman before the runner got there. And so now you got 2 quick outs on the board, but that's 5 up, 5 down. No strikeouts, but hey, an out's an out.
So now we'll see Jackson Schraft, the left fielder, as he takes a first pitch that misses on the outside. Next pitch from Derasi Citron, a swinging strike. Went off speed there, and Schraft couldn't connect. Now the 1-1. That one bends down below the zone for ball 2. So 2-1 count to 6-hole hitter Jackson Schraft. Derasi Citron's next offering. Finds the top of the zone for strike 2 with a fastball. And now 2's wild on the scoreboard. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the bottom of the second. Derasi Citron ready in the motion. His 2-2 misses down low. So now the count runs full here. 1 strike or 1 ball could change the outcome of this inning, potentially, depending on how Turks bats and the Tom Sox fielders would play it. Full count offering. Tapped foul off the screen, and they'll do battle once more. Schraft from St. John's River State College, junior. As Derasi Citron drops in a breaking ball that just misses on the inside, and Schraft the first to reach base for the Turks with a walk.
And not a bad pitch there from Derasi. That ball just off the inside corner, but now you got the catcher Alameus coming up to the plate, who's only hitting 188 on the season, but you still got to stay locked in here because you remember that you got the go-ahead run on first base.
So Schraft gets his lead off of first. Alameus in the box. First pitch from Derasi Citron out of the stretch nearly clips Alameus, but he ducks out of the way. Hasn't been the year that Alameus, I'm sure, would have wanted so far in Harrisonburg, batting 188 in 11 games. As the next pitch from Darasi Citron, breaking ball that bends on the outside of the strike zone. The righty from Wake Forest, who's in the transfer portal, has yet to find his new home. 6 hits on the year in 11 games. Darasi Citron will fire over to first to check Schraft. So now a 2-0 count to the catcher, Alameus. Alameus takes a big hack there at a pitch from Darasi Citron, but can't connect.
It's the thing with Darasi is that his stuff is there. The fastball, curveball, and the occasional slider or changeup is going to be really deadly when he can consistently locate it, especially that curveball. It's got a lot of movement to it. He threw it already in this at-bat, but wasn't able to locate it, but now he's just 1 strike away.
2-1 there, and gets another swing and a miss from Alameus, so a 2-2 count to the catcher. And 2's wild yet again here in the bottom of the second. From the stretch, the 2-2. Just missed off the outside edge, and the count will run full in back-to-back at-bats. So Darasi Citron gets the sign from Clayton. The full count. Schraft goes. Alameus fouls that one on the right side and out of play. And they'll do the full count battle once more. Schraft will be in motion, so anything hit into the gaps could pose a threat of a run for the Tom Sox. So see how the outfielders can play it if it were to reach the outfield. Darasi Citron's 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Got Alameus to reach for it. He goes down with a rather defensive-like swing. And no damage will be done by the Turks through the first 2 innings. No hits, no runs, 1 man left on for Harrisonburg. After 2, we're tied 0-0. We'll take a break and be back with more baseball here on the Tom Sox Broadcasting Network.
Leading off, the left fielder, number 39, Walker Buchanan.
Well, after 3 rapid innings here from Eagle Field, the Tom Sox at bat again in the top of the 3rd. Walker Buchanan will lead us off against Tim Tyler. First pitch from Tyler misses down low for ball 1. Buchanan hasn't exactly had the start he would have liked, I'm sure. Again, talk about that with 7 Alameus, but Buchanan batting below 200, 13 games, taps that one right back to the mound. Tyler fields it with the hand. He'll glove over to first, and that one in time for out number 1. So now Lee Sowers will be in the 9 spot, and he'll try and reach base against Tyler.
Batting 9th, second baseman, number 5, Lee Sowers.
This game just continues to roll along. Tyler in his motion, the first pitch to Sowers, dusts him off the plate on the inside with the fastball. So now a 1-0 count to the 9-hole hitter.
Yeah, and Sauer's a guy who reached base with a walk yesterday, but didn't get a hit. Did have to lay down a sac bunt.
Next pitch to Sowers once again dusts him off on the inside half with the fastball, and quickly a 2-0 count to Lee Sowers in a good spot to maybe find some green with a base hit. Tyler out of the windup. His pitch. This time a breaking ball that nearly clips Sowers. He has to do a little sidestep to get out of the box, and now he'll be a 3-0 count, and we'll see if he gets the green light at all to swing. Pitch misses up high, and Sowers will reach base with one out for the Tom Sox.
Yeah, first walk issued by Tyler in this one here for Charlottesville, and that's something that hasn't really been a problem for him. And so I'm sure the Tom Sox are hoping that they can make it a problem, but just one walk issued in each of his last 2 starts. So maybe the more patient approach will help Charlottesville going forward.
So now it's Perry Hargett, who had a pretty loud fly out to left field in his first at-bat, and Tyler's first pitch misses outside with the fastball. It's Hargett ahead 1-0. 5th straight ball from Tyler. This is something we haven't really seen him in a spot like this where he struggled to find the zone against the Sox. This one, tapped foul down the third base line, rolling over towards the Harrisonburg dugout, now to play.
It's kind of been the identity of the Tom Sox in the past week or so. They've been going a lot more small ball, especially as these games become a lot closer. That's really what they had to do last night versus Stanton.
So 1-1 count to Hargett. That pitch lined towards the gap in left center. It'll drop in for a base hit. Schraft coming on. Sowers rounding second. He'll hold up there in the UNC battery duo of Sowers and Hargett, creating some offense here in the top of the 3rd for the Sox.
Well, this is the right time to get some runners on, especially for a guy in Hudson Luderman who's pretty good at facing lefty hitters. He's hitting over 300 versus lefty pitching, I should say. And it's a guy who can hit the ball hard, and it's not very deep out there to left field, just around looks like 330 down there. So if there's anyone who's going to get to that pole, it's going to be Luderman.
So the first pitch from Tyler to Luderman. That one finds the outside corner with a fastball. So an 0-1 count now to the Hokie Luderman. Tyler gets his sign. His 0-1 offering swung on and missed by Luderman and blew that fastball right by him. So quickly Luderman down 0-2. Runners on first and second. Sowers and Hargett get their leads. Sowers not being held on at second. Look from Tyler, now he delivers to the plate, and Luderman skies that pop-up. Seguin went down on a knee, now rises back up to his normal position to make the catch and record the second out of the inning.
A little bit antsy there from Huddy as he had to reach out to the other side of the plate and make contact with that one, but there's still 2 runners on here for Gamster.
So Preston Gamster, who's been one of the welcome surprises for the Tom Sox this season. He's been a big RBI producer for the Sox, 8 on the season, only just 14 games. His first pitch you'll see from Tyler drops down low in the dirt for ball 1. He's been great with both the bat and the glove for Charlottesville this season, and has been nothing else you could say more than a welcome addition. He's been great. 1-0. He'll sky that one very similarly where he hit the first one. Over is Jaffe, and he makes the catch for out number 3. So Tyler walks Sowers and allows a base hit from Hargett, but quickly rebounds and manages to shut down the Sox in the top of the 3rd. 0-0 after 2.5. We'll take a break and be back with some more baseball here from Harrisonburg.
1 hit, no errors, 2 left stranded.
Tom Sox out on the field defensively in a tied ball game, 0-0 after 2.5. Tim Tyler and Eli DeRossi-Citron both dealing on the mound. Tyler's allowed 2 hits. Eli DeRossi-Citron only allowed 1 base runner with a walk back in the second. Now in the third, he'll face Roman Trinidad, the 8-hole hitter. First pitch to Trinidad misses inside for ball 1. He'll go 8-9-1 for the Turks. Trinidad, Garcia, and Jalen Evans. Next pitch to Trinidad is flied out to left. Buchanan on the move towards the Turk bullpen. He'll pull up at the foul line and he'll make the play. In 2 pitches, DeRossi-Citron records the first out of the inning.
Yeah, it's interesting. The bullpen placements are pretty different in this ballpark at Eagle Field, Luke. So you got the home bullpen is right near that foul line, but the away bullpen is in right field beyond the fence, pretty much. So probably a welcome sight for this Tom Sox staff, which at Cho Airport Field would be doing their bullpens in foul territory in right field.
Well, DeRossi-Citron now facing Tom Sox killer. You could say Philip Garcia in 2 games against the Sox this season, batting 7 for 9, collecting an RBI back in the first game of the season. Forces a quick 0-2 count and forces Garcia to deflect one off down the right field line to stay alive in an 0-2 count.
And Garcia is an interesting choice because he comes into this game batting .321 with 17 hits, and yet he's batting last in the order.
Next pitch from DeRossi-Citron misses up high, and it could be a thing of wanting to have somebody at the 9 spot that can just turn over your order, create base runners at the back of the order for guys like Jalen Evans, Josiah Seguin, and Gavin Grapuso to knock in. As the 1-2 from DeRossi-Citron, skied into shallow right field. Sowers back, but Nunnally will camp under it and make the catch for out number 2. And so Eli DeRossi-Citron spinning a pretty beautiful start to start off this ball game.
Yeah, again, with DeRossi, you know that he's got the strikeout stuff if he wants to, but so far that hasn't really been his prerogative. Just 1 K in 2 2/3 work. But again, as I said earlier, outs are outs, and especially against the talented Harrisonburg team that comes in with a great record, this is good stuff.
First pitch to Evans forces him to turn away from a fastball on the inside that nearly clipped him. And now the count 1-0. Next pitch, a fastball on the outside half that clips the strike zone. DeRossi-Citron working fast. Evans in the box now. DeRossi-Citron in his windup. That one drops down low for ball number 2. Folks, not sure if you heard, but Harrisonburg just got one of the U.S.'s, I guess, coveted gas stations in Buc-ee's, and we made a quick stop, got some food to try on the broadcast. We'll do that in the bottom of the 4th, so stay tuned for that as the 2-1 pitch here from DeRossi-Citron bolts its way into strike zone for strike 2. But myself, Daniel Stein, very limited experience with Buc-ee's. I've been only twice. Daniel's never been in his life, so we got some beaver nuggets to try, and we'll let you know how they are. Here's the 2-2 from DeRossi-Citron, and that one down low off the turf, and the count runs full.
Yeah, Virginia is pretty much the furthest south I've been, with the exception of 1 week in South Carolina. So I haven't really been around to Buc-ee's, but I'm super excited to try these.
Full count pitch from DeRossi-Citron misses high and outside, and Jalen Evans works a walk to prolong the inning.
Only the second walk issued by DeRossi in this game, but Evans, this is a guy who walks a lot. He had 16 coming into this game. That's now number 17 for a guy who is getting on base almost 45% of the time.
Now it's Gavin Grapuso, rising junior from Wingate University. Takes a first pitch fastball on the outside for ball 1. Grapuso in his last season of college stole 27 bags, but on the year at Harrisonburg, he's only stolen 4 bags as DeRossi-Citron will fire over to check Jalen Evans. And it could be a thing with the coaching staff, but it does feel a little odd that he's only attempted to steal 5 times this season, Daniel. As the next pitch, Evans goes, swinging strike from Grapuso. Gamster's tag not in time. So Evans swipes second, and it'll be a 1-1 count now with a runner in scoring position.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned Grapuso. Of course, he's not on base right now, but he hasn't attempted a stolen base in a week, and he was caught. Since then, he hasn't actively stolen a base since the 17th, so he just hasn't really even been trying.
Next pitch to Grapuso, framed by Clayton on the inside, but he won't get the call. So now a 3-1 count to a dangerous hitter for the Turks, a guy that gets on base a ton. Doesn't slug the ball a lot, but in a guy like this, in a spot like this, for a base hit is all you need. Right guy, and DeRossi Citron misses outside and do the count once more. So 3-1 now to Grapuso. Here's the pitch. This one's popped up over our heads, and that'll leave the stadium.
You know, one thing to consider with a situation like Grapuso, to where we know obviously he can steal bases as he did at Wingate, but it could be a preserving your own fitness kind of issue where maybe he's here in Harrisonburg to work on other things. He knows he can steal bases, so he's not going to do so because he doesn't need to work on it.
The 3-2. And that one misses outside for ball 4. So back-to-back walks for the Turks here in the bottom of the third. And now Josiah Seguin, a guy you really don't want to face with runners in scoring position, will get a shot at the plate.
Yeah, I'm looking over at the Sox bullpen. There doesn't seem to be much going on over there. So Randy Tomlin and company are going to let DeRossi ride this one out. This is a big at-bat in this game against a very dangerous hitter in Seguin.
First pitch to Seguin. That one misses up high. And how things quickly changed. DeRossi Citron recorded 2 quick outs, and now pitching coach Chris Glaze will come out to the mound and have a chat with DeRossi Citron as maybe impending danger on the horizon for the Sox, and I think Chris Glaze might sense it.
Yeah, I mean, DeRossi up to this point had frankly just cruised through the first 2 innings and change or so, and so at this point this is kind of inevitable that a team like the Turks, who are 14-8 on the year, are going to start to get to him, but this just seems to be a matter of control. He just hasn't been pointing the pitches in the way that he had in the previous innings, so I'll be interested to try to find out what Chris Glaze must have told him as he walked up to the mound, but now his visit's over.
A very short mound visit compared to some of the ones we've seen across the Valley League this season. Succinct and to the point was Chris Glaze. And so now DeRossi Citron in a 1-0 count to the 3-hole hitter Josiah Seguin delivers a strike. So mound visit certainly helped right there. A 1-1 count, not a Seguin. DeRossi Citron out of the stretch. Next pitch, another swinging strike from Seguin. And very quickly now, DeRossi Citron ahead 1-2. Eli ready on the rubber. The 1-2. Tapped foul, and Seguin stays alive. Jordan Jaffe waits on deck in his first appearance as a Turk. The 1-2 once more, runners go. Clayton fires to third. Nias is tagged to try and get Evans, is not in time. So now 2 runners in scoring position in a 2-2 count for Josiah Seguin, the man second in the league in runs batted in.
And you can tell DeRossi's really trying to just focus on getting Seguin here, which I don't necessarily agree with or disagree with, but it just means you're going to allow those stolen bases to happen. So he's really got to dig deep here on a 2-2.
2-2 pitch to Seguin. That one plunks him square in the back. So while you haven't seen much of Jordan Jaffe in college, he was a guy to be reckoned with. Double-digit homers in his first 3 seasons. Certainly a good guy to have up in this spot if you're Harrisonburg. Bases loaded, 2 outs in the bottom of the third.
From the Flames of Liberty, Jordan Jaffe.
And this is a guy who, as we mentioned, is just playing in his first handful of games. He made his debut versus Culpeper on the 27th, where he had a double.
First pitch to Jaffe misses outside. 1-0. Goes inside as well. And so now 2-0, a great hitters count for a guy that hit all his way through college. So Eli DeRossi Citron has to buckle down and find the zone here in a 2-0 count. His next pitch is a line drive into shallow center. Sowers back, can't get it. 1-run scores. Throw coming in will not be able to get Grapuso. Now Seguin trying to head for third. The throw over is in time. So the Turks will get 2 runs, but Josiah Seguin, a reckless base running decision, ends the half inning. Harrisonburg takes a 2-0 lead over the Tom Sox. We'll take a break and be back with more baseball in the top of the 4th. Harrisonburg scores 2 in the bottom of the 3rd. They take a 2-0 lead over the Tom Sox, who have yet to crack the code that is Tim Tyler. He's been phenomenal in multiple outings against the Tom Sox and has had that same stuff today. And Daniel, I mean, it's impressive to watch from up here in the booth at how he operates against the Tom Sox.
Yeah, I mean, he's limited the Sox to just 2 hits in 3 innings of work, no runs. Both the hits were singled, but you have 4, 5, 6 due up here for the Tom Sox, and this is the matchup that maybe platoon-wise you don't want, but personnel-wise, the more at-bats that James Nunnally gets, the better.
So Nunnally today flew out to center in his first at-bat, and he takes a first pitch from Tyler down low for a ball. Nunnally, the future Mississippi State Bulldog, batted .352 this season for the Sox to pace the team. He lines that one right towards Seguin at short, who leaps but can't make the play, and it'll go into left field for a base hit, and Nunnally will reach base for the first time today. Throw goes short, and Nunnally trying to go to second. The throw is in time, and Nunnally, very similarly to yesterday, tries to make a play on the bags, and he gets gunned out at second for his troubles.
Yeah, this is just something that we've seen too often in the past handful of games or so. James Nunnally's got great speed. He's up near the top of the league in stolen bases, but against a guy like Tim Tyler, who is not going to allow that many base runners just stay on base. I mean, he probably would have stolen second anyway.
Nunnally's spoken to us at length about how pitchers in this league struggle to pick off batters and base runners, but a rash decision right there takes away a base hit from the Sox, and now Patrick Nias swings through the first pitch for a strike. Next pitch from Tyler misses outside. And so it was a promising start to the inning. Now kind of seems gloomy if you're part of the Tom Sox nation. That mistake from Nunnally, as Nias waves at another breaking ball for strike 2. So Tyler operating pretty quick here. His next pitch to Nias is a line drive into right field. A base hit for Patrick Nias. So now you have to wonder what could have been to Speedy Nunnally on first after Nias singles now and puts himself on first.
You give Patrick now a 2-game hitting streak here. He's got a single in both of the last 2 games, but it's hard to think about those hypotheticals, Luke, but still it's going to sting. But now let's see what Langley can do here at his home ballpark, and he's already 1 for 1.
Langley in. Daniel just mentioned 1 for 1 on the day. First pitch from Tyler. A fastball that finds the zone. Alameus dropped it, but only just in front of the plate, so Nias can't advance. Tyler shakes off a little bit, gets his sign. The 0-1 to his teammate, and that one drops down low.
Something I think also that Tyler's doing really well is just the control, not allowing any wild pitches or making Alameus suffer a passed ball or anything. That's a big part of the Tom Sox game.
Langley fouls that one back over our heads and out of the stadium. And so now Tyler has him in a 1-2 count, looking for the punch out. Which surprisingly, he hasn't recorded any strikeouts today. So credit to the Tom Sox for so far avoiding the punch out. So here's the 1-2 to Langley. He'll fist that one to short. Seguin fires over to second in time. Throw over to first from Evans. Can't get Langley, so a 6-4-3 fielder's choice for Kyle Langley, and now 2 down for the Sox.
And Kyle Langley, I'm sure Tim Tyler knows this better than just about anyone, but Langley can absolutely fly for a guy who comes in at 5'11", 195. He can move pretty well. He's got 10 stolen bases on the season. Wouldn't be surprised here if they send him here with 2 outs and Clayton at the plate.
Clayton 0 for 1 today, popped out to third baseman Grupuso in his first at-bat. Takes a breaking ball that finds the zone for strike 1. Tyler still working out of the stretch. The next pitch to Clayton, another breaking ball that he fully whiffs at. A big hack, maybe trying to send that one onto the road just past the stadium, but couldn't connect, and behind 0-2.
You know he's capable of doing that, but lefty here. Got to dig in.
Tyler looking to end the inning here with the 0-2 pitch. Clayton whiffs at it in the dirt. Alameus can't find it. He kicks it a little bit. His throw down to first, and Jaffe in time. So Clayton retired by the punch-out. Tyler's first of the game, and he avoids some damage. The Tom Sox managed to record 2 hits but can't score a run, and they leave 1 stranded. After 3.5, we'll take a break and enjoy some Buc-ee's on the other side after we take this short break.
Leading off for the Turks.
Welcome back to the broadcast, and as we alluded to last half inning and the inning before that, it's Buc-ee's time. 2 guys up north really haven't had much chance to experience Buc-ee's. Now get to try some beaver nuggets, and, well, Daniel, let's just dig in.
Okay, so what is this? Like, is this supposed to be like salty, sweet?
I'm not totally sure.
Okay.
I've just heard they're very good, Daniel. And
Okay. Well, I'm gonna put my mic up a bit so it doesn't turn to ASMR here. Okay.
what are we thinking?
So it's like It's like maple popcorn.
But I got to give it to them.
It's pretty good.
It is pretty good. I'm taking another one. Yeah, this is amazing. I think Bucky's just got even cooler for me, which is kind of hard to imagine. There's a line drive to second. Sowers pulls the glove up and makes the play for the first out of the inning. So a good start for Eli DeRossi Citron, as I apologize for munching on some beaver nuggets, but they are quite good, folks. I'm not sure. Sorry you can't enjoy them with us, but
You know, they almost look like it's a different color. It's like if you like deep fried like a shrimp and like cut off its tail, kind of. These delightful little like 3/4 circle shapes. It tastes pretty good. You can really taste the maple flavor, and you know, so far, this gets me excited for when I go to Bucky's eventually for the first time.
well, folks, in a 1-1 count to Jackson Schraft here, but we have to note that James Nunnally has left the ball game. I believe Perry Harkett has moved over to right field. We'll get the center fielder's identification when we can. Actually, I believe Harkett is in center still. I believe Tanner Shadle is out in right. So we'll get the status update on James Nunnally when we can. He is no longer in the ball game for the Sox, as Schraft fouls that one away. And an unexpected departure for a guy that's been huge for the Tom Sox, and if it were to be any type of injury, would be a devastating blow for Charlottesville this season.
Yeah, and it goes back presumably to that play at second base as the ball is taken inside. I mean, you know, that's what you run the risk of when you're a guy who steals as many bags as James does. It's a pretty common injury when you're sliding into second base, and it's just an unfortunate situation.
2-2 pitch to Schraft, and that one's skied out to deep center field. Hargett going back. Moves over to right center into the gap and makes the catch just in front of the wall for out number 2.
Probably the furthest hit ball we've seen so far this evening, and Schraft just missed that one. But, you know, for a ballpark that Perry Hargett likely hasn't seen before, and it's 400 out to dead center field, he shows off some good range there as that ball hung up for a while, and he's able to make the catch, and there's 2 away.
Yeah, Hargett certainly probably wanted to take the weight off the shoulders of Tanner Shadle, who's new in the game in right field. And I'm not totally sure how much Tanner Shadle has played in the outfield from his time at Old Dominion to even here in Charlottesville. Has not played an inning in the outfield for the Tom Sox that I know of. So, DeRossi Citron behind 1-0 to 7 Alameus. Alameus flies that one deep down the right field line. Shadle's over towards the foul line, but it gets out of the stadium. So, won't have a chance at a play there, and a 1-1 count to the catcher, 7 Alameus. We're kind of scrambling to adjust, as we didn't even realize that James Nunnally was gone. We were so excited about Bucky's that didn't notice the positional swaps for the Tom Sox. Here's the 1-1 to Alameus, and it dips down low for a ball.
Yeah, it is worth noting that on the Old Dominion website where Tanner Shadle plays his college ball, he's listed as a utility. He's almost exclusively played first base this season for the Sox, but just presumably the fact that he's in right field means that he must have played it at some point for ODU.
It's a relieving thought as a fan and as a broadcaster to know that Shadle has some experience potentially. Again, we can't fully verify it. I would take some serious deep digging, but a 3-1 count here to Alameus. He takes ball 4 for a walk. So the inning prolonged by yet another 2-out walk from Eli DeRossi Citron.
Yeah, home plate umpire Justin Burton hasn't been very kind to that inside corner, or really any of the corners. It's been kind of a smaller zone than we're used to seeing. Of course, our view is a little different here. When we're at Cho Airport Field, we're almost directly behind the home plate umpire, but meanwhile, it looks like Randy Tomlin might make a change here.
Yeah, so on the contrary to Cho Airport Field, you really don't have an angle about who's coming out of the bullpen or who's even warming up. So it's a mystery to us. We'll take a break and reveal this mystery on the other side of this Tom Sox pitching change. Eli DeRossi Citron's day is done after 3 2/3 innings of work. We'll take a break and be back with this pitching change here on the Tom Sox Broadcasting Network. So for the Tom Sox, it'll be Nico Janssens, the lefty from the University of Florida. Eli DeRossi-Citron heads out to the bullpen. His day is finished. Janssens on the year has pitched in 3 games, 2.1 innings with a 15.42 ERA, 2 strikeouts, 4 walks, 4 runs, all earned for Janssens. It'll be interesting to see how he handles with the runner on first base and facing another lefty, Roman Trinidad, which might have been the design of the Tom Sox to bring him in here to get the platoon advantage.
Yeah, I can't say that DeRossi maybe intentionally walked or unintentionally walked Alameus, but this matchup ends up working okay with the lefty-lefty and a guy in Trinidad who they've already gotten out once, and he's batting in the low 200s this season.
So Janssens gets his sign, working out of the stretch with Alameus at first. And this pitch, a fastball that runs up high for ball 1. Janssens brings some nice velocity, but he's had some control issues, 4 walks through his first 3 appearances as a Tom Sox. This pitch, no issue, however, as he clips the strike zone for the first strike.
Trinidad, a guy coming from Emerald Hills, California, that's up in the Bay. Talk about a long journey across the country here to Harrisonburg, Virginia.
The 1-1 to Trinidad, and that one misses outside. So a 2-1 count to the 8-hitter Trinidad. 2-1 pitch from Janssen, tapped back up the middle. Gamster fields it on a hop, fires over to first, just in time to Luderman to retire the side. So the Turks get a 2-out base runner, but Nico Janssens comes in and shuts the door to keep the score at 2-0. We'll take a break and be back with the Tom Sox bats at the top of the 5th right here on the Tom Sox Broadcast Network.
Through 4 full innings of play, Turks 2, Tom.
Tom Sox trailing 2-0 here in the top of the 5th. They look to try and finally put a run across against Tim Tyler, who has now pitched 11 straight scoreless innings against the Tom Sox, which is, to be quite honest, absurd.
It's just been a dominant stretch for Tyler. He has such good composure up there and great control of the strike zone. And I mentioned earlier, I'll mention it again, the Tom Sox offensive identity in the past couple of weeks has been small ball, taking advantage of those wild pitches, stealing bases. Tyler just hasn't allowed that.
First pitch to Walker Buchanan, the left fielder, a called strike. Buchanan grounded out to Tyler back in the 3rd inning. Tyler back to work again. His next pitch misses outside with a fastball, 1-1.
And one more note on Tyler, if you go back his previous 2 starts, he's now working on 13 straight innings without allowing a run. It's pretty incredible.
It's absurd whichever way you decide to spin his statistics so far this season. 2nd in the league in strikeouts. Again, which is just crazy because a lot of them have come against the Tom Sox and from the Tom Sox hitters to give him that number where he sits at this season with 34. 35 if you count Brock Clayton from last inning. So now 3-1 count to Walker Buchanan. That one fouled off the screen, so now a full count. Buchanan looking to reach base with nobody out, which would be huge for the Tom Sox. So Tyler ready, working out of the windup here with the full count pitch. It's fouled away, and Buchanan will do battle in a 3-2 count once more. Fellow intern Jeremy Rose bought a Buc-ee's stuffed animal to try and bring the guys luck in. So far, it feels like a bad omen, to be honest. There's a 3-2 to Buchanan. Taps that one right towards third base. Grapuso makes a nice play, and a running throw to first is in time to retire Buchanan. So one down for the Sox in the top of the fifth.
Yeah, I think if this is anybody else other than Walker Buchanan, it's probably an infield single. Buchanan not the most fleet of foot, although he does play left field and the outfield generally. But just a good play there by Gavin Grapuso over at the hot corner.
So now Lee Sowers, one of a couple men to reach base for the Sox today. Did so via a walk back in the third. First pitch ball, now Tyler's second offering. Breaking ball, Alameus tried to frame it, but couldn't get the call, and so now 2-0 to the 9-hole hitter, Lee Sowers. Another breaking ball from Tyler, misses the zone once again, and so 3-0 count yet again to Lee Sowers. Tyler's offering on a 3-0 count is a get-me-by fastball right down the middle, and a 3-1 count now to UNC's Sowers.
He's really attacked Sowers either intentionally or unintentionally on that inside half, but most of the pitches haven't been close.
This one will miss outside on the contrary, and Sowers work his second walk of the ball game. Turning it over to his collegiate teammate, Perry Hargett.
Top of the order, center fielder, Perry Hargett.
Hargett and Sowers a part of that UNC team that made a nice run to the Super Regionals this season. For their season was befelled by the Wildcats of Arizona. First pitch to Hargett, down low for a ball. Sowers and Hargett made some noise in the ACC tournament, helping UNC have a pretty good run in that as well. Didn't see much playing time during the regional or super regional as Hargett fouls that pitch back off the screen.
Yeah, but it still shows that the fact that these two guys who are both rising sophomores got significant playing time for a really high-quality ACC power shows their talent, and they haven't been off to the best start here, but Hargett's been swinging it better as of late.
1-1 to Perry, and he flicks that one off the screen to make it a 1-2 count between himself and Tyler. Sowers gets his lead off of first. Not straying too far from the bag as he's held on by Jaffe. 1-2 pitch to Hargett is lined into center field. Coming on as a center fielder, a diving attempt, and Trinidad can't get it, and that's going to roll. Sowers rounding third, Hargett heading to third. Evans coming up to throw, and it's not going to be in time, and it goes to the backstop. Hargett will stray from third, but he'll hold there. So a wild play scores one, and Perry Hargett 90 feet away from tying this ball game up with a triple.
Yeah, I mean, this is just kind of a miscue by Trinidad out in center field, and you can't call this an error because this would have been a really tough play to make, but he dives for the ball, and it goes under his glove, and it's just the classic play. It rolls all the way close to the warning track, and this is where the speed of Perry Hargett, the speed of Lee Sowers comes in handy, and now Luderman can tie up the ball game with one swing.
So Luderman with Hargett 90 feet away. Hargett skies that one into shallow center. Seguin, Evans, and Trinidad all on a triangle together. Evans makes the catch. Hargett thought about tagging the throw to Alameus on a hop. Will dissuade him from doing so. And even though a fly ball would have done the job, not far enough for Luderman, and now Preston Gamster will have to find his way to first base to bring Hargett home.
Luderman, a guy who's often very aggressive offensively, and that one, it just doesn't work out in his favor.
Preston Gamster.
He swung at a good pitch, but you just got to be able to control your emotions there and barrel it up, and Huddy unfortunately not able to do it there.
So Gamster has popped out twice today. Takes a first pitch strike from Tyler. Contingent of fellow Tom Sox interns right behind the plate cheering on Gamster. Here's the 0-1 from Tyler. That one misses for a ball, so now the count 1-1.
It's just the third triple hit all season by any Tom Sox. Kyle Langley and Preston Gamster actually the only two others to have one.
Tyler's 1-1 pitch to Gamster. Once again, fly down the right field line. Hopefully going to get out of play, and it will. As Garcia gives it a look as it flies onto the blacktop just outside the stadium.
And you wonder if Gamster's having any trouble deciphering what's coming out of the hand of Tyler, because he's usually very pull heavy out of that right batter's box, but everything's been the other way so far in his at-bats.
The 1-2 to Gamster is tapped down the third base line. Grapuso, a nice play, throws over, and his throw not in time. Preston Gamster legs out an infield single to bring home Perry Hargett and knock this ball game up at 2. And, well, from struggling to finally plate a runner, all it took was a little bit of luck for the Tom Sox, and they've plated 2 against Tyler here in the top of the 5th.
This is just Tom Sox baseball in 2025 in a nutshell. Preston Gamster, a guy who can really run, especially for his tall stature, and he just hits a little tapper pretty similar to the one that Walker hit not too long ago.
Gamster thought about stealing the throw from Tyler down in the dirt, so he'll hold as Alameus made a nice block. It'll be a 1-0 count to the pinch hitter, Tanner Shadle, replacing James Nunnally. .1-0 to Shadle, and he takes outside. Still no motion out in the Turks bullpen. They're going to let Tim Tyler ride through this rough stretch. Full confidence in their guy. 2-0 to Shadle. Gamster goes. Alameus from his knees. The throw not in time. Gamster with a foot first slide beats the tag and now will have himself in scoring position.
It was an admirable effort there from Alameus out there, showing off why he started at Wake with a really solid throw from his knees, but Gamster just able to get there in the nick of time.
2-1 count to the defensive replacement, Tanner Shadle. That one gets past Alameus. Alameus can't find it. Gamster digging for the plate. Alameus can't get the throw away. And Gamster goes from second to home on a passed ball.
This is just a wild play. This ball just gets through the 5-hole of Alameus, and it's interesting, the dimensions of Eagle Field. It's kind of I want to say a hexagon type shape here, so which means there's not the rounded corners of the backstop, so it kind of can sneak away from you if you're a catcher. And Gamster, credit to him, he just never stopped running.
Next pitch to Shadle, misses outside for ball 4, and Daniel, this has been a wild turn of events from what we've seen for the Tom Sox against Tim Tyler. They've had no luck, and now we'll have a mound visit from the Turks to maybe calm Tyler down, as it's been a series of unfortunate events for Harrisonburg.
This has just been a wild inning, and just like you said, Luke, just a little bit of luck was all they needed, as this is not Bob Weiss heading to the mound, but their pitching coach. And imagine Tyler, obviously he's staying in this game. There's nobody up in the pen over there in left field, but how about that? Tom Sox came into this inning down by 2. They've completely flipped the script here, and they're still threatening with Shadle on first.
Well, let's just talk about it. A triple where a guy nearly caught the man in front of him, very similar to Nick Castellanos and JT Realmuto with the Phillies a couple weeks ago. Then you have a pop out thinking the inning is over after 1 out, and then Preston Gamster an infield single to bring home the tying run, to later score on a passed ball from second base. Just a wild sequence as Tyler's first pitch to Patrick Neas, third baseman, down low for a ball. Shadle gets his lead off first. Tyler gives him a look, now comes to the plate. That one drops off of Alameus' knee guard, and it'll be a 2-0 count to Neas. For a second when that ball got past Alameus, Daniel, I lost sight of the ball and Alameus, and I wasn't sure if Gamster made the right choice coming home, but there wasn't even a throw.
You can't really see the corner of that backstop, but that must have been where that ball went.
Neas golfs this one into left field. Schraft coming on towards the line. He makes the catch and ends the nightmare inning for the Turks. So Charlottesville takes the lead with 3 wild runs here at Eagle Field. 3-2 the score after 4.5. Daniel Stein's going to take us the rest of the way on play-by-play, folks. But stay tuned for some great baseball action on this radio broadcast with myself and Daniel Stein.
Bottom of the 5th, getting started here from Eagle Field at Veterans Memorial Park in Harrisonburg. Quite the momentum-turning inning so far as the Tom Sox headed in to the 5th, down by 2. Now they're up by 1 as Nico Janssens returns to the mound here to face 9-1-2 in this Harrisonburg lineup. It will start with Philip Garcia, who's 0 for 1 with a fly out to what was James Nunnally out there in right field. Of course, Tanner Shadle now there to replace him. First pitch here from Janssens to Garcia on the outside corner for strike 1. But, you know, for a Tom Sox team that hasn't come to Harrisonburg yet this season, they sure have made their presence felt halfway through this one.
Oh, absolutely. I don't want to say it was us, but the Beaver Nuggets have, at a convenient time where this team has played so much better from the bottom of the 4th onwards.
0-2 below the knees for ball 1. So maybe the Bucky's luck is kicking in here. It's a Tom Sox team that just hit 500 yesterday for the first time since the beginning of the season. As the 1-2 is tapped back to the mound over the glove of Janssens. Coming into is Gamster, and a nice stretch by Luderman, but he can't keep the ball in front of him. Called an infield single here for Philip Garcia. And so that puts the tying run on base here for the top of the order in Jalen Evans. But to finish that thought, the Tom Sox have been playing from behind record-wise so far this season. This now feels like yesterday felt like a turning point. Halfway through the season, this is truly a new chapter for Charlottesville.
Absolutely, and it's been a lot of the new guys. You talk about Perry Hargett and Lee Sowers, you know, bringing the mentality of, you know, I recall talking to our team president, Chesley Mullins, as there's a first pitch foul, that she got a text the day that Perry would arrive with the team in Waynesboro, and that he said, I'll be here at 12, I'm ready to play. And that's something you don't see often from a lot of guys, you know, who are coming into summer ball league teams, but that was the kind of mentality those guys brought, and it's been a huge asset to this team, and it's really shown in how they've played. You talk about the interview yesterday with Perry, talking about Trevor Booten, and he said, you know, the day I got there, I saw Trevor Booten pitch, and he's like, I knew right then Trevor was going to be my friend because he's a guy who throws strikes, and I love guys who throw strikes. It's that kind of mentality, that kind of lighthearted but serious about baseball that's made this team so much better.
Jansen's was up 0-2 on Jalen Evans. Now it's 1-2 as the ball wheels outside. He's got Garcia on first and nobody out here in the bottom half of the fifth. Infield and double play depth. First baseman Luderman holding on Garcia. Here's the 1-2 from the lefty, and that one fouled away towards the right side. The influx of players from the ACC and SEC has really, I think, changed the mentality of this Tom Sox team. These are guys that in their short careers at those schools, they're very prosperous. These are schools that are constantly pressuring for a national championship. As that ball gets in front of Clayton, who had to spin around to find it. It's down for a ball, 2-2 count. Here in a 3-2 game with your Tom Sox ahead by 1.
It hasn't really made an impact on the Sox, but the turf playing on these pitches certainly has made an impact for the Sox offensively. Obviously scoring the run with Gamster, but it'll be interesting to see how Brock Clayton handles the turf fields. He's played all this season at Show Airport Field on a dirt surface.
Here's the 2-2. Evans fouls away. Yeah, Cho Airport Field, of course, as we mentioned, a high school field. It's played on just regular grass and requires a lot of maintenance, especially with the summer we've been having where it just feels like it's rained every single day. Turf field doesn't require quite as much as Jansen's bounces it in front of the plate to run it full. With Gavin Grapuso lurking on deck here.
Shout out to the head groundskeeper of Cho Airport Field, Jason Mullins, does a phenomenal job keeping that field in tip-top shape.
Here's a full count here from Jansen's to Evans. Evans swings and drives that one into right field. Shadle is going back near the wall. It's over his head and off the wall. Shadle, it bounces in front of him, and they will hold Garcia at third. It's going to be a double off the wall from Jalen Evans, and that puts that tying run just 90 feet away here in the go-ahead run in scoring position. Now there is what appears to be a pinch hitter here for the Turks. This is Thomas Bly getting warmed up. He would be replacing Gavin Grapuso.
St. John's River State College Vikings, number 24, Thomas Bly.
Bly on the season hitting .241 in 19 games played, has 3 home runs, 10 RBIs as well.
Bly had a big fly the last time against the Sox, hit it in the second inning off of Evan Allwine, one of the Sox best arms.
That ball gets away from the catcher Clayton, and the tying run will score. Garcia comes around. We have a whole new ball game here with the Turks still threatening. You mentioned how that turf was going to deal with Brock Clayton, as he appears maybe to have a small ailment with his right hand. He was kind of wringing it out. But for now, it's a tie game, as Clayton will go and talk to his teammate Jansen's, with now Jalen Evans on third and Thomas Bly ahead in a 1-0 count.
I think when Brock went to block that, maybe tried to reinforce his glove with his hand, and his hand clipped the ball as it bounced, and that one would hurt, obviously. I'm glad he's able to stay in the game. I've seen him be tough before. I guess he's going to check and just see how he feels. He'll do a little practice throw back to Jansen's, and I think he's going to gut it through. And we have a bullpen report. Thank you to Jeremy Rose, our fellow intern, sending the bullpen report. Bradley Link is getting loose for the Tom Sox out there in right field.
Jansen's the second pitcher to be used in this game here for the Tom Sox after Derossi Citron started things off. Bly swings through that pitch, and it's 1-1. Evans on third, and Hudson Luderman playing close to the grass at first. Patrick Nee is ready to run in if need be. Bly comes up empty again, and he's behind 1-2.
This would be a big out for Jansen if he can get Bly by a punch out. That would certainly decrease the odds of Evans scoring and try to keep this game tied, which is exactly where you want to be if you are Jansen's.
1-2 count. Nico fires that ball below the zone to even the count at 2 apiece. Derossi Citron's final line. He goes 3 2/3 innings, allows just 1 hit, giving up 2 runs, both of which were earned, and walking 4 and striking out 1. For now, here's the 2-2 from Jansen. Swing and a miss. He gets the pinch hitter Bly to K. That puts 1 out on the board here, but not out of the woods. Far from it with Josiah Seguin coming up to the plate.
Yeah, but a really desirable outcome, and you'll see Seguin, switch hitter, taking at bat righty. And again, it was going to be the platoon disadvantage regardless of whoever you roll with, but Jansen's getting a confident strikeout there is huge for this at-bat.
First pitch to Seguin, fouled off, almost snared by Jordan Jaffe, who waits on deck. Seguin in this game 0 for 1 with a ground out and a hit by pitch. Jansen's with the advantage in the count here, 0-1 with 1 out. Ball gets away from him. Seguin, a dangerous hitter, as we mentioned, and this is the heart of the order. The Turks already tied this one up here. 1 in on the pass ball. Jansen's just trying to limit the damage there. Here's the 1-1. Here's a ground ball right up the middle, base hit. It bounces off the second base bag. It's good enough for Evans to come around and score. And the Turks have grabbed the lead here in the bottom of the 5th from the RBI single from Josiah Seguin.
And it's tough. The Turks put a lot of hard contact on the baseball this inning. I guess you could say the baseball gods thought they were deserving of some runs after Evans and Garcia had some nice contact. So Seguin knocks in another run, and now the Sox are going to have to work from behind here. And trying to see there's not much motion in that Turks bullpen, so it might still be Tim Tyler.
Ball. First pitch down to Jordan Jaffe, who had a 2 RBI single in his last at-bat, and a ground out before that. Jaffe, a guy who had a stellar college career at Richmond and now will play at Liberty. Seguin on first, 1 out. 2 already in this inning. It's on the outside corner, according to home plate umpire Justin Burton. It's a 1-1 count as the sun begins to set here, although we haven't really seen it much today. What's been a rainy afternoon in Virginia. Jaffe goes after it and fouls it. 1-2 count. Mari DeJesus waits on deck. Middle infield at double play depth with Lee Sowers positioned close to the second base bag, and Gamster at shortstop a little bit further away from it, but still close if need to hop on the base. Here's the 1-2. That gets away from Clayton again. Taking second will be Seguin, and he will get about a quarter of the way to the third before retreating. Be interesting to see how they score that. Might be a pass ball, but that pitch wasn't competitive, and it's 2-2 here.
Yeah, that one dinged off the inside of Brock Clayton's knee guard, and that's why it went so far away past him to the left. And I think Seguin could have had third if he really had kept a full head of steam around second there.
So they will rule it a wild pitch as Jaffe lines that one the other way foul, hits the screen along the first base line. They did rule that a wild pitch. Still a 2-2 count here with 1 out. In this 4-3 ball game with Harrisonburg ahead. Jansen's the rising sophomore out of Florida. Looks in and fires. Ball below the zone. Just has not been able to get this Turks team to chase. That's been something that's I've really noticed all games so far. Bob Weiss has built a very disciplined hitting order. None of these Turks hitters have really gone out of their way to swing at something out of the zone. See if Jansen's can initiate that here on a full count with 1 out. Here's the pitch. Fouled away, and we'll do it again. It's going to be the 7th pitch of this at-bat here. Turks have already brought in 2 and have another in scoring position. Nico Jansen's just trying to limit the damage where it is. Jansen looks back at second and fires on a full count, way outside, and it's a walk to Jordan Jaffe to put runners on first and second, still with 1 out.
Now Randy Tomlin's on his way out, and I believe this will be the end of the outing for Nico Jansen's, especially with the righty Jack Schraft, Amari DeJesus at the plate. We'll see how Randy Tomlin's going to handle it. Waiting to see if the bullpen door will open. And it will open, and it will be the end of the outing for Nico Jansen's.
So Jansen's day is done. He's still responsible for the runners on first and second. Bradley Link checking in, and we'll have more about him and the rest of this fifth inning when we come back on the Tom Sox Broadcast Network. Bradley Link into the ball game here in a bit of a mop-up role here, as Nico Jansen still will be on the hook for the runners on first and second. Thanks for joining us here from Eagle Field at Veterans Memorial Park, home of the James Madison Dukes here and the Harrisonburg Turks, as the Tom Sox have paid them a visit. We got a good one brewing as the sun sets. Bradley Link will pitch out of the stretch here and face Amari DeJesus. First pitch is swung on and missed for strike one. DeJesus in this game 0 for 2 with the line out and a ground out. Bradley Link just trying to hold the deficit where it is here. 0-1, one out. Link looks back at the runner at second and fires. Check swing tapped ground ball, that goes foul. Right into the helmet of Bob Weiss over there at third. Nice play by the veteran Turks coach.
Link's gotten a lot of uses this season for the Tom Sox, 18 innings in 7 games. So we'll see how far Coach Tomlin and the staff want to let him go today.
0-2 count with one out. Here's the pitch from Link outside. Link, a guy who he started the first game of the Tom Sox season against these Harrisonburg Turks. He's a guy where, you know, he's got good fastball velocity, and that slider, when he can pinpoint it, has a lot of break to it as well. Here's the 1-2. Just off the outside corner. Brock Clayton did his best to try to keep that one there, but home plate umpire Justin Burton decided it was a ball. 2-2 count here on DeJesus, the designated hitter. Runners with small leads. Here's the pitch from Bradley. Upstairs, and it's full. So Link started off in this count ahead 0-2, and now 3 straight balls has made this much more difficult at bat. Jackson Schraft waiting on deck. Link takes a look at both runners. Comes set, kicks and fires. Swing and a miss. Good work by Link, just rearing back and finding some extra juice, and he picks up his first strikeout on his first batter faced.
It's a big out. You get the guy that's a lefty, the platoon advantage of Amari DeJesus, and now with 2 outs you face Jackson Schraft, who hasn't had the most success in his time hitting against the Tom Sox. If I recall correctly, Schraft in his first game went 0 for 5, and last game against the Sox 1 for 4.
Here's the first pitch to him, behind his head. Clayton able to grab it. It's interesting the connection. Bradley Link plays baseball at Pensacola State, and Brock Clayton, of course, at Florida, but from the Pensacola area. So a couple of guys that probably know all the good restaurants over there, if I had to make a guess. A couple of Florida guys in the Battery together. It's a 1-1 count here after Schraft took a strike. Link takes a look at the runners. Kicks and deals. Schraft fouls straight back.
Some more arms getting sent out to the Tom Sox bullpen. I did notice Jason Ben, one of the guys heading out there, as well as Riley Rorty taking a trot out there, followed by bullpen catcher Jesus Cesare. So 2 names we might see come into this ball game eventually for Charlottesville.
Yeah, Jason Ben, I think a guy who ideally would be the closer, but given how this game's going, Tom Sox are going to need some run support. Here's the 1-2 from Link. Here's a sharp ground ball to third. Nias goes to his knees. Over to second. They can't get any of the runners. Sowers was on the bag. He's having a conversation with second base umpire Lance Hertz, but instead it's going to be a single here for Jackson Schraft. The bases are loaded with 2 outs. No runs did score on that play. That was a tough play for Pat. I don't think he would have made that throw over to first, but it likely would have been the smarter play.
Yeah, especially with the angle. He was already on a knee, kind of having to arc his body to try and even make a competitive throw to first. May have allowed Seguin at third to score, so it was probably the safer option to go to second.
Here's Seven Alameus here with the bases juiced. He takes a slider that's off the plate for a ball. Alameus in this game 0 for 1 with a walk. Struck out back in the second inning after facing Eli DeRossi Citron twice. It's now the second different pitcher he has faced in this game. One gets away from Link, but Clayton able to snare that one before it goes to the backstop. 2-0 count here with Roman Trinidad waiting on deck. This is a game that was very slow through the first couple of innings. Harrisonburg got 2 runs in the bottom of the third, and then the Tom Sox fought back in the top of the 5th with 3 runs of their own. Link deals inside, and it's 3-0. In this bottom of the 5th inning, the Turks have gotten 2 runs. First on a pass ball, and then on an RBI single from their best run producer, Josiah Seguin. And now Bradley Link is just 1 pitch away from putting in another run here. He's got to dig deep on a 3-0. I thought that was going to be ball 4, but Justin Burton calls it a strike. He hasn't been very friendly to really any of these pitchers. He's called kind of a smaller zone, but it gets Link back in the battle.
He's made you earn it today. I could say that to be the least.
3-1, swung on and missed by Alameus, and it's 3-2. So good comeback here from Bradley. Going to try to finish it off here with 1 more strike.
Want to avoid anything really hard hit. You're going to have runners in motion, so Alameus is probably just going to try and create some chaos with something hard hit.
Full count, 2 outs. Link steps off. Reset the pitch clock back to 20. Pitch clock sits out in right center field. You can see it counting down. Here's the full count. Runners will go inside. Ball 4, and the run comes to score. 5-3, the Turks lead. That's now the 3rd in this inning. Link didn't miss it by much, but especially with the right-handed hitters, Justin Burton has not called anything on that inside corner.
And now Link have to face a lefty in Roman Trinidad.
Center fielder Roman Trinidad.
Maybe not the ideal spot to walk a guy like Alameus, who really hasn't had much success with the bat this season. And you got to face a guy with platoon advantage who's had some struggles himself, but could get himself right with 1 swing of the bat.
First pitch here to Trinidad. That is off that outside corner again. Tom Sox pitchers have issued 6 walks in just over half of this game. Just has not been what they want control-wise. Now they're down by 2, as that one gets on the outer half to even the count at 1 apiece. was talking with our head of groundskeeping, Jason Mullins, earlier, and he told me something very, very wise. He says, you can't have too many walks because 4 walks, that equals a run. It's really come back to bite the Sox today. Ball upstairs for ball 2. Here with 2 away, and the base is loaded. Jarossi Citron issued 4 free passes. Jensen issued 1, and Link has issued 1 in his short outing so far. He's just trying to get out of the inning. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Check swing. Trinidad held, and that ball was off the plate. And it's 3-1. Justin Burton looks over, presumably hearing something from the Tom Sox dugout. Another 3-ball count here. Link fires out of the stretch. That's strike 2. Good slider there. Leaks into the zone. And it's full, so the runners will be on move again.
Yeah, got to be another big pitch. Got to be competitive here, and you got to find a way to limit hard contact because it's going to be a little chaotic on the base paths.
Full count, 2 outs. Link versus Trinidad. Here's the pitch from Bradley. Swinging a foul ball towards the left side. That will go behind the press box and probably onto the softball field out there. Sun continues to set, so the lights have come on here in Harrisonburg. We'll do it again here on a full count. Here's the pitch to Trinidad. Inside, ball 4, and another one comes in to score. 6-3 now as the Turks just continue to grow that lead. They've now plated 4 in this inning.
It feels eerily similar to many of the Tom Sox games to start off the year where pitchers couldn't find the zone, bases got loaded, and walks were issued with the bases loaded that allowed runs to score.
So Philip Garcia comes to the plate for the second time in this inning. He led off, and now the Turks have batted around here in the 5th. Garcia heading the count 1-0 with runners on all bases here. Here's a second pitch from Link. That's a strike on the outside corner to make the count even. Link comes set, takes a look at the runner on second, and deals. Boy, I don't know where that pitch was. It looked like it was on the inner half, but not according to home plate umpire Justin Burton, and it's 2-1 here.
Yeah, he's been a lot of different places with his zone today, and that one right there is probably a good representation of what it's been like.
2-1. That's a strike, and it's 2-2. Link has gotten into these 2-strike counts, but he just hasn't been able to finish the job. The last 2 hitters haven't even put in the ball in play here. It's a 2-2 count with 2 outs. Link fires. Fouled straight back. A 6-3 ball game now. Trinidad on first, Alameus on second, and Schraft on third. And Garcia at the plate for his second at-bat of the inning. Bradley Link looks back and deals on a 2-2. Pitch in the other batter's box. Clayton, a nice job to grab it. And it's full yet again. Link trying to avoid walking his 3rd straight batter. And already make what has been kind of a disaster of an inning even worse. Runners will go here on another full count. Link deals. Outside, ball 4. He's walked 3 straight. It's now the 5th Turk to score, and it is a 7-3 ball game here.
And at a certain point, as a pitcher and as a coaching staff calling these pitches, I think you just have to tell the hitters to beat you, to not try to throw around, not try to work around the zone, but to throw your stuff as close as you can to the strike zone and let them beat you, and not have to deal with the ability of just giving free passes and issuing these free runs like Bradley Link has done so far today.
So a game that got off to a screaming start in terms of run time has slowed down quite a bit as Bradley Link is given the boot from Randy Tomlin, and the Tom Sox are going to go to their third pitcher of this inning. We will be right with you on the other side here when the Tom Sox get their new arm into the pen, down by 4.
FIU. Tristan Dietrich.
Tristan Dietrich into the game here for the Tom Sox, and just like Bradley Link's role was, but the same, unfortunately, a mop-up role here. 7-3, the Sox trail as the Turks have really put it to the Sox here in this 5th inning.
Second baseman,
They've done so with some good patience here. They forced Bradley Link into 3 free passes and still have the bases loaded with their leadoff man, Jalen Evans, who doubled in this very inning. Dietrich will work out of the wind. Here's the first pitch, just off the outside corner. Dietrich comes into this game with a 1-0 record and a nearly 8 ERA in just under 6 innings of work. He's got good strikeout stuff, but the walks have also been an issue. Looking to not follow in the footsteps of Link in this inning as he responds with a strike to make it 1-1. With Dietrich, you look at his line of games, and the Culpepper game really stands out. He gave up 4 earned runs and on 4 free passes. Here's a fly ball into right field. Tanner Shadle circling. He calls off Perry Hargett and makes the catch. And so Dietrich does his job, gets out of the inning, but a disaster of an inning here for the Tom Sox. They started this inning with the lead, and now they're down by 4. We'll move to the 6th here. Tom Sox chasing 4.
For the Turks in the 5th inning, scoring 5 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 3 runners left on base. We go to the top of the 6th, Harrisonburg 7 and Charlottesville 3. This is your last call for alcohol this evening, last call for alcohol sales. And you can now purchase hamburgers and hot dogs half price at the concession stand. Remaining in the lineup to play third base for Harrisonburg, number 24, Thomas Fly.
Welcome back to Eagle Field here as the 6th inning getting underway soon, and Randy Tomlin is having an extended conversation with home plate umpire Justin Burton. Not exactly sure what this is about, as he was kind of pointing, Burton was, out to right field, but Randy is insistent upon continuing this conversation, which does not look very cordial, I should say. Kyle Langley will dig in against his current teammate, Tim Tyler, who returns to the mound. Looks like the conversation is over. Randy takes his final words as Tyler takes his warm-up pitches. It's kind of been that kind of last couple 20 minutes for the Tom Sox, just very frustrating, and Tomlin's still letting the third base umpire know. Now we're back to baseball here with the 6th inning lefty-lefty matchup. Kyle Langley digs in and does not get hit by a ball, but it came close to him, and it's 1-0.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things that Randy Tomlin could have been discussing, but I don't know. We just don't know. That's the nature of the game.
Swing and a miss by Langley. And we're spoiled with Cho Airport Field, as our crowd mic is placed really close to essentially the end of the backstop, and you can hear some pretty clear conversations. But fortunately, our mic could not pick up what Randy was telling home plate umpire. Hits the outside corner there against Langley, and it's 1-2.
Again, just some possible theories, a discussion about the strike zone, which I think both teams would agree is a little bit in fluctuation this ball game today.
Here's the 1-2 from Tyler. That's below the zone on the breaking ball. 2 apiece.
As soon as I say that, some chattering with the Tom Sox dugout. Hard to tell who it was that spoke. One of the guys at the foot of the dugout said something, and it evoked an immediate response from the umpire.
You can see Randy Tomlin walk out a couple of steps just to see who that was as Tyler deals a ball. Langley's putting a good at-bat here. It's full. Kyle's 1 for 2 with a single and a fielder's choice, so he's got on base both times. He's in a full count with his teammate. Langley lines it the other way, snared by the third baseman Grapuso, over to first, and he's able to beat Langley in time for the first out. So a good battle, but it's Tyler who wins the battle of the Dukes here. I'll bring Brock Clayton to the plate for his third at-bat. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a pop-out.
The catcher,
Tom Sox 3 runs in this game came on a Perry Hargett RBI triple, an RBI single from Preston Gamster, and then the hamster scurried around from second base on a pass ball to give the Tom Sox the lead.
Yeah, and it's been the small ball type of game for the Tom Sox. You mentioned that earlier on, Daniel, about how the Sox have played really well small ball as of late, and they've used it. I mean, sure, a triple is not really small ball, but in the way it was, just a simple base hit most of the time turning into an RBI triple, that's a great example of how the Sox have used small ball to their advantage.
It's a 1-1 count on Brock. He takes a breaking ball inside. It'll be 2-1. Walker Buchanan waiting on deck. Here's the 2-1 to the Florida man, Clayton. He pulls it foul. Goes into the Tom Sox dugout. Hopefully everyone's okay in there. Brock Clayton, a guy who hasn't hit one over the fence yet, but has a tendency to barrel up the ball. We've seen him do it before. As the 2-2 is taken low and away to run it full. The lefty-lefty matchup, definitely a bit more of a challenge here for Clayton. Here's the full count pitch, and Brock takes one inside. Too much run to it, and there's a 1-out walk. Maybe some signs of life here for the Tom Sox here in the 6th inning.
And a good job there by Clayton. Worked a nice at-bat. He's had some struggles with the strikeout today, and he popped out back in the second, but worked a really nice at-bat there, at least in my opinion, and he'll find himself at first trying to spur the Tom Sox back on in this ball game.
It's now the 4th walk issued by Tim Tyler. That's a season high for him. As Walker Buchanan checks in and swings at the first pitch to make it 0-1.
It's been a great job all day for Charlottesville of really not falling victim to the punch-out like they have against Tyler in the past. They've put the ball in play and forced the Turks to make plays.
Here's the 0-1. Buchanan swings and misses again. One strikeout on the evening so far, and the victim was Brock Clayton, who now is on first base. Tom Sox down by 4 here. Buchanan in a hole here, 0-2, with 1 out and a runner on first. Tyler deals, swung on and missed, right on cue. There's strikeout number 2 as Buchanan will take the slow walk to the dugout. And Lee Sowers will represent the last hope here for the Sox here in the 6th.
Well, honestly, it's a guy you'd want to be your last hope. He's reached base both times today in both of his plate appearances with 2 walks and came around to score on the second walk, courtesy of his teammate Perry Hargett, who also had himself a pretty nice ball game.
First pitch to Lee, just outside off the outside corner. Another thing I think that's been worth noting in this game is that the Tom Sox haven't really figured out Tyler's motion. They haven't stolen that many bases with the exception of Preston Gamster here as Sowers fouls one straight back. Of course, Brock Clayton isn't going to be the guy who you would expect to steal the most, but you can just see when he's out there on first base, he's taken a step back towards first when Tyler was going into his motion. In fact, we really haven't seen Tyler step off and throw over at all, which is especially interesting given that he's a lefty. Sowers takes inside for ball 2. Catcher Alameus calls for time and will walk up to the mound here to talk to his starter. Sowers, meanwhile, will just have a short conversation with Justin Burton. Top of the order is on deck here for the Tom Sox. Just trying to get back in this one here. Been an interesting first day of July. The whole day leading up to our trip on the bus here, we kind of just assumed that this game might get rained out because there's been so much rainfall in the whole valley area, but it seems that we've been in the eye of the storm, so to speak. As the 2-1 from Tyler deals, and that is fouled sharply to the opposite side. It's 2-2 here on Lee Sowers.
And even now, Daniel, the nighttime clouds look a little bit ominous in the distance. Darker clouds certainly towards our north, so I know the Winchester game already got postponed today. I mean, we're lucky to have this game even played.
Here's the 2-2 on Lee, way upstairs, but some devious cloud cover in the sky. As a 3-2 count looms with Clayton will be on the move on first, and Lee Sowers at the plate. He's already walked twice today. Tyler on a full count. Sowers takes upstairs. He's got 3 free passes, and now 2 runners on with 2 outs for Perry Hargett. Make that walk number 5 issued by Tim Tyler today. And we'll get another mound visit here. Doesn't appear to be anyone up in the Turks bullpen, although we haven't been looking over there in a while. This is not Bob Weiss. This is the pitching coach, or the assistant coach, Joel Bursinet, up there. He was just meeting with Tyler and the catcher, Seven Alameus. So Tyler presumably is going to stay in this game until he isn't, as it looks like they were just buying time, and they are going to make a change. So the Tom Sox able to chase Tyler here, and we'll have 2 runners on and 2 outs, and Perry Hargett coming up to the plate for a new pitcher in the game for the Turks. We'll have more on him and the rest of this inning when we come back.
fielder Perry Hargett.
Perry Hargett digs in here with 2 outs and 2 on. Adam Horvath, the new noodle in the game here, another JMU product. The rising sophomore who's mainly been a starter for this Turks team. But this time he comes in relief of Tim Tyler. First pitch inside to Hargett for a ball. Horvath's numbers on the season, 19 innings pitched and a 1.42 ERA. So the Turks not letting up here against the Tom Sox. It's a 1-0 count here on Hargett. Second pitch to him. A breaking ball misses below the zone. Got Lee Sowers on first and Brock Clayton on second. And the fellow Tar Heel, Hargett at the plate. Been pretty productive. 2 of 3, a single and an RBI triple. Both coming in his last 2 at-bats respectively. 2-0 from Horvath. That's on the outside corner for strike 1. My mistake. And it's a 2-1 count here.
I think using Horvath was probably the plan all along for them to go with 2 of their best guys out of the pen, even if Tyler wasn't the starter.
2-1. Hargett takes 1 for strike 2.
It wouldn't surprise me if Horvath was the starter and Tyler was the guy that would go the bulk of the innings out of the relief, but I think working it the either way of, going with Tyler to start off was a smart move by the Turks because Tyler's had so much success against the Tom Sox.
Here's the 2-2 with 2 away. Hargett takes upstairs for ball 3. But between these two and Cannon Fiesel, who we saw in the first game of the season back in May, it just has not been an easy go here against this Harrisonburg staff. Here's a full count on Perry Hargett. He takes upstairs and the bases are loaded for Hudson Luderman.
Well, to talk to your point, Horvath is only the 4th pitcher the Tom Sox have seen this season from Harrisonburg. We've seen Cannon Fiesel, you've seen David Davila, Tim Tyler, and now you're seeing Adam Horvath. So it's pretty crazy to only see 3 players from a team that's played you now. This is the 3rd time Tom Sox facing the Turks, but that's how good the the Turks pitching staff has been against Charlottesville.
So here's Hudson Luderman, who represents the tying run, and he takes a ball outside. Luderman has had a tough game, 0 for 3 with a couple of flyouts and a pop-out. He has a chance to bring the Sox back into this game. The 1-0 from Horvath. Luderman hits a ground ball to third. Diving stop by Grapuso. He has no play. Everyone is safe. It's an RBI single for Hudson Luderman. 7-4 now, but that Turks lead could have narrowed a lot more if that got out of the glove of Grapuso. So nice play there.
I also think Grapuso had a lapse defensively there. He made a nice play to dive on it, but really didn't bounce up to his feet. And if he had, I do believe he had a chance to get Lee Sowers at a force out at third base, but decided to try and make the throw across the diamond, and Sowers kind of awkwardly jumped in at third. And
here's Preston Gamster, who now represents the go-ahead run. Luderman, the tying run on first base. He takes a ball upstairs. Luderman brings in his 8th RBI of the season on that single. Here's the 1-0 to Preston. Here's a swing and a drive in the left field. That's going to be a base hit. 1 run will score. Rounding third and coming home is Perry Hargett. They're going to wave Luderman home, and Evans bobbles it. We are tied here in Harrisonburg. Preston Gamster with a double. What a game we have brewing here.
Well, the never say die Sox with yet another late stage comeback. And I mean, this was almost considered a dead inning a few batters ago with 2 outs and Brock Clayton on first. But Lee Sowers worked a phenomenal at-bat to work a walk, and then Hargett with the walk, Luderman with hard contact for a single, and then Preston Gamster just doing what he's done all season and creating RBIs. And now this game's knotted up, and Horvath really hasn't been stung a lot this season, is dealing with giving up a couple runs, and now we get a mound visit from Alameus, and is Horvath going to be able to find himself again after getting stung for 2 earned runs there? Or 1 earned run, sorry.
So we'll work out the math of the runs and earned runs and who is charged to who in a moment. For now, that can finish the night here on Tim Tyler, who allows 5 runs, all of which were earned. And so far, Horvath has allowed 2 runs, both of which, of course, earned. already matches his season high.
So I correct myself for nothing, Daniel. I was right and double-checked myself.
So here's Tanner Shadle, who all of a sudden can knock in the go-ahead run, which is Preston Gamster. Credit to the TCU man, Preston, for keeping the wheels spinning there. 7-all here with the runner on 2nd and 2 outs. Here's the 0-1 from Horvath, and Shadle pops one up into shallow right field. Garcia on his horse. He slows down because it's actually the second baseman, Evans, who makes the catch. And that ends the inning. But what a rally from the Tom Sox. They get an RBI first from Hudson Luderman, and then Preston Gamster empties the bases to make it 7-7. We got a good one brewing here at JMU.
5.5. It's 7-7. Leading off for Harrisonburg in the bottom of the 6th, third baseman Thomas Fly.
Welcome back to Eagle Park, where we have quite the game on our hands here. The Tom Sox, after being shut out through 4 innings, have rallied for 7 runs in the past 2, and now have tied things up here at 7 apiece. Tristan Dietrich back to the mound. He welcomes Thomas Bly with a first pitch strike, but Dietrich trying to be the calm in the storm that was that last inning for the previous 2 arms, as the next pitch swung on and missed on the changeup.
This past inning and a half has been like a seesaw. You have Tom Sox taking the lead in the top of the 5th with 3 runs, then Harrisonburg scoring 5 runs to retake it, and now the Sox tying it up in the top of the 6th with a 4-run spot. It's crazy, to be quite honest.
Here's the 0-2 to Bly. Swing and a miss. Dietrich takes quick care of him and sets down the 2-hitter in 3 pitches for the first out here in the 6th.
And that's what Tristan Dietrich does so well. His breaking stuff is phenomenal. His fastball will get at about 90, 91 miles an hour, but if his stuff is moving, it's very hard to hit, and he can get outs just like that.
Here's Josiah Seguin. He's had a good game, a hit by pitch and an RBI single. And a 1-for-2 game for him. He takes a ball inside. Seguin, a guy who spent his first couple of seasons at William and Mary, as he fouls one away. So he's played ball in Virginia for a little bit. Hit .284 in his first campaign, and then he moved on to Chippewa College in his 2nd season, where he hit .314 on 48 hits. He's got a good track record as Dietrich deals an off-speed pitch outside. Tristan Dietrich, the big lefty, out of the wind here on a 2-1. Here's a tapped ground ball. Sowers has to charge. He gloves it cleanly over to first. Phenomenal play by the UNC man as Sowers comes up to make the 2nd out.
You know, you guys listening on the radio broadcast, you really won't get to understand how phenomenal that play was from Lee Sowers, but that ball took a very late hop. He kind of had to just shove his glove up and pray that he made contact with the baseball. He did, and managed a perfect transition from glove to hand, fired over to first, and just a beautiful play all around from Sowers and Luderman to get the out there.
Brings up Jordan Jaffe here with 2 outs and nobody on. First pitch from Dietrich misses outside. Dietrich, a rising junior, stands at 6'5", 194. Plays his college ball at Florida International, where he had an increased role this past year, pitching nearly 18 innings. Second pitch misses outside as well to Jaffe. Dietrich, a number of FIU players on this team. Adonis Velez, Evan Allwine as well. Cole Cleveland, another Tom Sox from FIU. Here's a 2-0 count from Dietrich to Jaffe. Way outside, and it's 3-0. Jaffe has been should be a great get for the Turks. He hit over 300 in each of his 3 seasons at Richmond. He takes one on the outside corner to make it 3-1, and also 10-plus home runs in all 3 seasons. Guy who has put together an impressive college career. Here's a 3-1. Dietrich trying to get back in it. Swing and a miss there on the changeup, and it's full. 3-2. Tom Sox looking for another win here, following up a big win last night as Jaffe takes one inside for ball 4. It's a 2-out walk, as that has been something that has plagued the Sox the past couple of innings. Puts a man on here with 2 outs. The Amari DeJesus, who will be on the bench as there's going to be a pinch hitter for the Turks.
Be Ty Long, Southern Miss product.
Pitch hitting number 18, Ty Long.
Long, this is his 10th appearance of the season. He's hitting .265 on the year with 3 RBIs and 9 strikeouts. He's got a man on first. That's Jaffe with 2 outs. First pitch to Long is below the zone for ball 1. Long, a rising sophomore at a Ripley, Mississippi. Bats righty. Swings and misses. A sword there on the curveball. Long takes a couple steps, keeps that right foot right on the white of the right-handed batter's box, holds that bat high near his helmet. He's got an even count here, 1-1 out of the left hand of Dietrich. That ball just off the outside corner, and it's 2-1.
Again, both pitchers from both squads have been getting some close calls not go their way all day today, and I'm sure Randy Tomlin and Bob Weiss have their opinions on the umpiring.
2-1, swing and a miss. Here's a back pick over to first, and safe is the call there on Jaffe. Boy, I tell you what, when you're 1 strike away from getting out of the inning, a back pick, it's one of the things that is so jarring about this Tom Sox team. They allow Taveras and Clayton to play so free back there. Can be some highs, and there can be some lows as well with that. 2-2. Good job by Clayton, able to pick that one out of the turf. This is not the first time that the Tom Sox have met with Long. He played against Charlottesville in their matchup on June 19th, where he did register a hit, but he also struck out. It's a full count here with 2 outs. Jaffe will be on the move. Dietrich, a deep breath, kicks and fires out of the stretch. Swing and a miss. Dietrich makes good work here in the 6th, pitches a scoreless inning, and sends us to the 7th. Tom Sox trying to grab the lead here, tied at 7 apiece.
7-7 our score. All right, baseball.
Seventh inning about to get underway, and a new pitcher in the game for the Turks. It's the right-hander Cole Dement.
Yeah, Cole Dement, when you think of the State College of Florida, you think of Florida State, not actually the State College of Florida, which is where Cole Dement played his college baseball last season, a 3-2 record in 20 games with 3.83 ERA. So solid in college, solid for the Turks this year, 2.41 ERA and 18 2/3 innings pitched, the 3-1 record. Also has started a couple games. So it feels like Bob Weiss is throwing out everyone he has at the Tom Sox right now, and the Adam Horvath move didn't work. We'll see if the Cole Dement move works and if he can demonize this Tom Sox offense.
Well, he'll face Patrick Nias to start things off, followed by Kyle Langley and Brock Clayton. So Langley will get a break and not have to play against the guy who he shares a clubhouse with for once when he comes up for this inning. Righty-righty matchup. Patrick Nias stands in. First pitch to him is swung on and fouled straight back. Be 0-1. You can close the book here on Adam Horvath. He goes a third of an inning, allowing 2 hits, 2 runs, both earned, and walking 1. As that Nias foul ball maybe hit a car, as you could hear the alarm going off. Second pitch to the Gardner-Webb product. Good slider for strike 2. Nias in this game has a single sandwiched between 2 outs, a fly out and a pop out. This is his 4th at-bat of the game here. A guy who didn't play at all in Gardner-Webb this season and has been a mainstay in this Tom Sox lineup, and Seven Alameus was ready to go around the horn on that one, but Justin Burton says that was off the plate, and it's 1-2.
And he was taking a nice skip towards third and had to skip his way back to the backstop.
1-2 count. Let's see if Patrick can make him pay. Here's the pitch from Dement, and here's a swing and a pop-up. Coming in is the first baseman, Jaffe. He makes the catch here. And there's one away in the inning.
Yeah, I thought there might be a little bit of a confusion or even a collision there between Dement and Jaffe, but good job by Jaffe to really be vocal about it and let Dement know that he was taking that one and it avoided any trouble for the Turks.
Here comes Kyle Langley with 1 out. Gets his righty-lefty matchup here. Langley, the rising junior, hits a ground ball to second base. Evans, with the sunglasses flashing above his cap, throws out Kyle, and there's 2 away here. A quick start to the 7th inning for the Sox.
Yeah, well, like I said, Cole Dement has the chance to demonize this Tom Sox lineup, and for very few pitches he's done just that. But now you have a guy with some pop in Brock Clayton who's been waiting for the chance to unload with power on a baseball, and dare I say it could be this at-bat.
Is he calling his shot? We'll see. Here's the first pitch to Brock. A good slider, but it's outside, and I think Alameus was so disappointed with that call that he spiked the pitch, and Dement has to come off of the mound to pick that one off the dirt.
Well, the beautiful thing is there's nobody on base. If there was, that would have been I don't even know what would have happened at that point.
Yeah, this isn't like a Shin-Soo Choo and Rougned Odor situation here. But it has been that kind of quality a game here. 7-7 in the 7th. Here's the pitch. Clayton trying to get lucky, fouls that one away.
It's almost like a Rube Baker in Major League 2, where he was one of the best, fielding catchers in the movie, but all he couldn't do was throw back to the pitcher. Can't really discuss what helped him fix that ailment in the movie, but just know to watch Major League 2. It's a phenomenal film.
Here's the pitch to Clayton, and a half ground ball over to third. Bly picks it. He has no play, and it's a patented Tom Sox infield single here. And there's that go-ahead run on base with 2 outs in the inning.
Well, he didn't exactly unload with a lot of power on that baseball, but he did put it in a perfect spot to get himself on base and hopefully continue this inning and give the Sox a chance to take the lead. That's all you can ask for at a guy at the back half of the order.
Brings up Walker Buchanan, the left fielder, and the who's had a tough game. 0 for 3, his last at-bat a strikeout, but he's got a big opportunity to try to give the Tom Sox the lead. First pitch, a good slider that crosses the plate for strike 1. Buchanan, a guy who really has had roots in Virginia for a long time. His dad, of course, a great baseball player for UVA. He was drafted in the first round. His mom, a national champion lacrosse player. His grandfather just some guy who played for the Boston Celtics by the name of John Havlicek. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
Yeah, I haven't heard of John Havlicek. I've never really heard that name. I don't know anything about basketball. It's just a crazy random lore drop that we learned while doing some research on Walker.
See what he can do here on an 0-2 count, and Buchanan swings and misses, but he doesn't really run that out. Alameas had to go all the way back, and he throws the ball into right field. Buchanan is safe. Rounding third now is Clayton. He's going to try to score. The throw home is not in time. I'm not even surprised anymore by how this game has gone. The Tom Sox grabbed the lead on a strikeout turned error, and Brock Clayton rounds the bases, and it's 8-7.
Seven Alameas must hate this backstop. That is now the second time where a routine play has ended in disaster for the Turks. And what we thought was the end of the inning, Walker Buchanan didn't even run. He at first thought he had just fouled the baseball off. Lesser known that he had missed the ball completely, yet it still went to the backstop, and he took a perfect sprint down to first, and Alameas just skied it, and I'm in disbelief too, Daniel.
Dement throws over to first. Buchanan in safely. Lee Sowers comes up to the plate. So they're going to rule it a strikeout and an E2, and Clayton scores. For those of you following along at home, as the second pitch to Sowers sits Alameas down below the zone. So now it's a 1-0 count.
By rule, that is an unearned run for Dement.
As it should be. I mean, he got out of the inning, and Alameas airmailed that throw, even with Buchanan still standing there after he swung and missed. Speaking of, as Lee Sowers comes up empty, and it's 1-1 here.
What was wilder was Jalen Evans backed the throw up, and Philip Garcia was even there, but it kind of went in between them, bounced off of Evans' glove, and ricocheted around for a little bit, allowing Clayton to score.
That's where we are. Tom Sox ahead 8-7 in the seventh, as Sowers takes it upstairs. This has just been a wild game. It's a 2-1 count here with 2 outs, 1 already in, and Buchanan on first. Top of the order looming here for the Sox if they extend the inning. Throw back to first, goes off the glove of the first baseman Jaffe, but Buchanan stays put. So now Lee Sowers ahead in the count yet again, and he's already walked 3 times in this game. This is just what summer baseball is all about. You know, these are guys playing across people coming from different conferences, different divisions, different levels, D1, D2, NAIA. It produces a real good game so far. Here's the 2-1 pitch, misses upstairs. And Sowers ahead in the count here, 3-1. With Perry Hargett, the Tar Heel on deck. Here's a 3-1 pitch to the other Tar Heel, Lee Sowers. That ball is on the inside corner for strike 2. Sowers had already discarded the bat and was halfway to first base, but he signals to Justin Burton, that was my bad. It's a 3-2 count.
A little bit of a ceremonial like handshake with the bats there between Perry Hargett and Lee Sowers. So see if that can bring Lee any luck here. I mean, 3-2 count, he's walked 3 times. Let loose, take a big hack.
There goes Buchanan on the full count. Sowers does take a hack, hits it down the left field line. That ball is teetering foul, and it does land there before Schraft can make the catch. We'll do it again full. Buchanan will go back over to first, and Sowers will dig back in. So if you're just joining us, the Tom Sox, the leadoff man, Patrick Nias, popped out. Kyle Langley grounded out. Brock Clayton reached on an infield single, and then Walker Buchanan struck out. But then on the drop third attempt, Alameas, the catcher, sailed it into right field, and Clayton scored from first. Here's the full count pitch to Lee Sowers. That ball's inside. It's the 4th walk of the game for Lee, and now 2 are on here with the top of the order and Perry Hargett.
Well, David Argo, I know you may be listening to this broadcast, and I would just like to know, what territory are we entering with 4 walks in one game for Lee Sowers?
We'll wait to see what he says, and for now we're going to get a visit to the mound here before Hargett steps up to the plate. 8-7 ball game here in a game where Charlottesville has out-hit Harrisonburg 9-4. They've had one hit in this inning, just the infield single. This is a Tom Sox team that this is just the kind of games that they've played. They've been close, but they've really showed a lot of grit in the past week or so. Their last game yesterday, another rescheduled one. That was, they hosted Stanton. They won 3-2 in 10 innings. They won on a walk-off sac fly from the guy who's about to step up to the plate now in Perry Hargett, I should say. The game before that, a 6-inning win over Purcellville. That game was rained out. You just talk about finding a way to win in bizarre circumstances. That's what this team has done. So now we're ready to go. Hargett swings and misses here. He's down 0-1. Buchanan on second, Sowers on first, and 2 outs in the inning. Hargett trying to give the Tom Sox some insurance now. He's already knocked in 1 today. Second pitch misses outside. We'll do it on a 1-1. This is Dement on the mound. Just trying to put the fire out here. Here's the 1-1 to Perry. Upstairs for a ball. Alameus tried to pull that ball down. Unsuccessful. This is the first time Dement is pitching in a little over a week. He last pitched 3 innings versus Stanton in their 6-5 win on the 23rd. Here's the 2-1 from Dement to Hargett. That nicks the corner here, and it's 2-2. Walks could be the problem sometimes for him. He walked 5 in his appearance on the 5th against Woodstock. He's in a 2-2 count with 2 on here in the 7th inning. Here's the pitch to Hargett. Fouled straight back.
Perry and Lee are very similar hitters, but in different ways. I mean, they're both guys that are scrappy in the sense of, you see Lee working 4 walks a game, but Perry will just fight to stay in counts, and he works walks that way, he gets on base that way, and he creates chaos, and he's done that so far today for the Sox.
Here's the 2-2 to Perry, swung on and missed. So Dement able to get out of the inning, but not before the Tom Sox grabbed the lead on a circus-like play there from the Air 7 Alameus. We will move to the bottom of the 7th. Your Tom Sox ahead by a score of 8-7.
Left on base. 7th inning.
Bottom of the 7th is upon us here. Your Tom Sox ahead against the Harrisonburg Turks, 8-7. It's been a crazy game. Tristan Dietrich returns to the mound to face Jackson Schraft here. This will be Dietrich's 2nd full inning of work as he deals one just outside to Schraft, who in this game has reached twice, both on a single and a walk, and then flew out in the 4th. Putting himself at 1-2 on the game so far. It's a 2-0 count here on Schraft, the 6-hitter. Tristan Dietrich, the big lefty, fires on a 2-0. Ball misses low.
I said this to Daniel during our break, but if there was one game I wish that people could see the live feed of, it'd be this one for what we have gone through today.
That pitch misses a little bit away to Schraft, who gets on with a leadoff walk, but I agree, there's some things that as a radio broadcaster you're trained to paint a picture for your audience, but there are some things that just pictures need to be seen. You can't just explain it with words.
I think two things that fit the description are a passed ball that a runner will score from second on, which is kind of something crazy to think about because passed ball, usually the catcher realizes there's a passed ball, and also a drop third strike that ends up scoring a runner from first base. Just in that context, telling that to people, it's an absurd type of game, but we've tried to paint the picture as best as we could for you today, and we hope we've done a good enough job.
We thank you guys for tuning in here on this Tuesday evening as Randy Tomlin made his way to the mound. And there's going to be a new pitcher into the game here. So we will go to break and be back with the new right-hander on the mound here for the Sox. Welcome back to Eagle Field here as the new arm in the game, the mystery right-hander is, as we've now dubbed him, high-leverage Brandon Eldridge here in the game. Luke, what do you have on him?
Well, Brandon Eldridge, in his first appearance this season, did not have his best stuff. He did not record an out. It was a brutal showing, to say the least, for Brandon Eldridge. Since that appearance, he has gone 4 straight outings without allowing an earned run, which is incredibly impressive, and it's why we've dubbed him high-leverage Eldridge, because the Tom Sox have gone to him in high-leverage spots, such as the one right here, and he's gotten so much success for them.
First pitch to Seven Alameus is a good bunt down the first base line. Luderman had to get back to the base, and they're still able to get him. As you could hear, it might have been Bob Weiss over at third base saying he was off the bag, but first base umpire Nathan Hamlet calls him out. Hamlet now walking in here as we might get a meeting between some of the umpires.
I believe Alameus got cleated by Luderman as Luderman's walking over to apologize. Alameus threw his helmet off the fence in pain and frustration.
He's walking a bit gingerly, still on first base though, being looked at by one of the trainers and his first base coach. Bob Weiss talking to Nathan Hamlet over there. Hamlet is also the crew chief, so in a vacuum he would have the final say over this thing. Rankings-wise, he'd be the highest umpire up, and obviously he was the umpire at first base, so he should have the clearest view. Now, we've seen this in recent Tom Sox games. These umpire meetings aren't just kind of out of a formality-related reasons. We've seen them overturn calls before. So uncertain what's going to happen here. It would be the first out of the inning if they stand by their original call, with Jackson Schraft still on second base. Schraft over there talking to the middle infielders, Sauer and Gamster.
And I guess just to add another layer of wild and wacky to this ball game, a situation like this, and again, something that would probably need to be best viewed on a live stream with a live camera feed. We're trying our best here. Here comes the decision.
And they call him out, so they stand on business over there at first base. This is a wonky play. Hudson Luderman is not a guy who plays first base a ton, and he was coming in on the bunted ball that moved down the first base line. So you had Eldridge and Luderman both moving in for it, and you had Sowers in the area as well. But the play seems to be executed enough in the quality to get the out. So now there's one out on the 1-3 putout. And it will be Roman Trinidad to step in here.
Not sure of the delay here. As we get set to resume play.
Home plate umpire Justin Burton was writing something down. But now we're ready to play. So the tying run in Schraft is in scoring position. Eldridge versus Trinidad. Here's the first pitch from Brandon. That's on the inside corner for strike one.
Perhaps he was writing his Bucky's order. Again, I just a hypothetical, but
he's writing down order Beaver Nuggets. That's what he's looking for.
Are very good.
Eldridge looks back at the runner on second and fires. That is off the outside corner, and it's 1-1. A little more about Eldridge, the rising junior. He spent his year at Florida Southwestern, originally from Ainer, South Carolina, a very small town out there in the Palmetto State. Here's the 1-1 from Brandon. Here's a swing and a drive into shallow right field. Sowers will not be able to make the catch. Shadle will come up throwing. They will hold Schraft over at third. Good relay from the Tom Sox. The tying run still sits at third base here on the single from Trinidad.
Yeah, and a good job by Hudson Luderman on that play. So Shadle fielded on a hop, and Luderman made a good job to cut off the throw, which kept Trinidad from advancing to second base. If that throw had gone to the plate, I do believe Trinidad would advance to second, and would have eliminated the threat of the double play. And now we'll see how the Tom Sox want to play this, as Brock Clayton has had a successful back pick at third off a pump fake to second. So there is a potential chance that Tom Sox will try and go to third here if Brock Clayton feels he has the chance, or Trinidad to steal second base.
So now you get an interesting matchup here. Righty-righty with the 9-hitter, Philip Garcia, who, as we've already discussed, is a guy who is not your average 9-hitter, hitting over 300 on the season. Eldridge will throw back to first. Got to be careful over there not to sail a ball or bounce one beneath the first baseman, with Schraft over there just 90 feet away. Brock Clayton will offer up the signs here to Eldridge. Garcia in this game, 1 for 2 with a walk. Singled back in that 5th inning and then walked in the same inning where they batted around. He's now trying to tie things up again. Here's the pitch to him. He fouls it off his ankle. And it's 0-1.
And Eldridge has been in some sticky spots in those starts, or I should say appearances, where he's pitched, but he's managed to work his way out of them. It would be a Houdini act to work out of this without allowing a run, in my opinion.
It's an 0-1 count here. Brandon Eldridge will pitch out of the stretch here. He's got Trinidad on first and Schraft on third. Here's the pitch from Brandon. That is on the outside corner. A delayed call from Burton. But the Tom Sox get one, and it's 0-2. Trinidad with a moderate lead over there. Do they send him? Maybe something to think about if you're Brock Clayton. Here's the 0-2. Missing outside is Eldridge. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Roman Trinidad has 6 stolen bases on the season. but they all came before June 5th. As that one gets by Clayton, but he's able to recover and pounce on it, so Schraft stays put. It's now full.
Yeah, big pitch here for Eldridge. Wouldn't surprise me to see Trinidad in motion, trying to stay out of the double play on this count.
A mistake, it's a 2-2 count. Still a significant pitch. Here's the pitch from Eldridge, and now it's full. Don't want to load the bases for Jalen Evans, who's already doubled this in this game and reached on a walk as well. Big pitch coming up here. Eldridge rocks back and fires on a full count. Off that dreaded outside corner is a walk. Boy, I would like to hear what's going on in that Tom Sox dugout right now.
Second baseman, Jalen
Yeah,
Evans.
I'm with you, Daniel. It's tough. The corners haven't really pushed in today, leading to, I think, both pitchers feel like they've been getting squeezed from both sides. And I think the coaches and managers feel the same exact way, that the pitchers have been getting squeezed as the zone seems fairly tight today.
As the 11th walk issued by Tom Sox pitching in this game. So now the bases are loaded again, and Jalen Evans takes a ball upstairs.
What's crazy, Daniel, is if you told me earlier in the season this was the 11th walk by the Tom Sox, I'd expect this game to be a blowout in favor of the other team.
Yet they have the lead. We'll see if that lasts. It's a good answer by Eldridge to make it 1-1 here on Jalen Evans. Comes into this game 1 for 3 here with a double that took place in the 5th inning. That marathon of a 5th inning. Tying run Schraft is on third as here's a fly ball in the center field. Hargett dives, makes the catch. He won't even try to throw home. Schraft comes in to score, and we are tied up at 8. Jalen Evans with his first RBI of the game on the sacrifice fly.
Yeah, and a very smart move from Hargett there. Secure the catch. You prevented Trinidad from tagging to third, so now he'll only sit himself in scoring position at second base, and it gives Eldridge a chance to get the final out with this game still being tied.
So now 2 outs with runners on first and second. That's Roman Trinidad over at second base and Philip Garcia at first. And Thomas Bly at the plate. Here's the pitch from Eldridge. It misses outside. Eldridge in this, or Bly, I should say, in this game, 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. He's had to face 2 different pitchers. Now he faces a third different one. Here's the 1-0, and Bly hits a line drive past the diving glove of Nias. Coming around to score is Trinidad with a head-first slide, and the Turks have grabbed the lead. So Brandon Eldridge, who's been rock solid in his past couple outings, just not able to get out of the inning unscathed.
Yeah, and it's tough. The Tom Sox, a little bit of a different defensive alignment than they've run with in past games. Walker Buchanan, not the fleetest of foot out in left field, and took a bit of time getting to that baseball. Had it been Kyle Langley or James Nunnally, maybe there's a chance that throw can get in to prevent Trinidad from scoring, but Buchanan just too late, and now the Turks take the lead in the late stages.
9-8 here as Josiah Seguin takes one at the top of the zone for strike 1. This is the last guy you want to face at this point. Seguin, who's reached twice on a single and a hit by pitch, grounded out in his last at-bat to second base. Still got 2 runners on here. Runners on first and second with 2 outs. 2 have come in this inning from the Turks as Eldridge deals a ball upstairs. This inning started with Tristan Dietrich on the mound. He walked the leadoff hitter, Jackson Schraft, who later scored the run that tied this game up, and then immediately Dietrich was pulled. And since then, Eldridge has been in this spot. Here's the pitch, that one way upstairs for ball 2. Can close the line on Dietrich now. He goes 1 1/3 innings, allows no hits, but still gives up a run. 2 walks and 2 strikeouts for the FIU product. Not a bad outing, but here we stand with the Tom Sox down yet again. Here's the 2-1, and Seguin swings and misses here, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, a big pitch here. Seguin, an RBI producer. Eldridge could hold him off and end this inning. Go a long way in helping the Tom Sox even fight back and hold some momentum in this ball game.
2-2. Eldridge looks back and fires upstairs on the off speed. It's full with the cleanup hitter Jordan Jaffe waiting on deck. Here's the pitch from Brandon. Swung on and missed. Good work by Eldridge to minimize the damage, but the Tom Sox do surrender the lead. We have a fantastic game brewing with 2 more innings to go. Tom Sox trail by 1 here on the Tom Sox Radio Network. We've reached the 8th here in Harrisonburg as the Tom Sox find themselves down by a run. What has been a wild game so far. Cole Dement returns to the mound to face 2, 3, and 4. It starts with Hudson Luderman, who knocked in an RBI in the 6th inning. And Preston Gamster will follow him up, who had the bases clearing double. Luderman takes outside for ball 1.
You know, of everything we've seen, the one thing we've missed today is a home run. That's all I'm saying.
This is the part of the order to do it. 2, 3, 4. Here's the pitch from Dement. Luderman takes upstairs 2-0. Huddy, a guy who has a lot of pull side power. We haven't really seen him hit the ball to opposite field at all. But he's a guy who can just rake. Here's the 2-0 pitch to him. A slow breaking ball on the outer half for strike 1. There is a arm up in the Turks pen as a 2-1 comes in. That is off the plate. 3-1. It's a right-hander up in the Harrisonburg pen, but for now, Luderman will dig in here ahead in the count 3-1. Hudson Luderman with that oven mitt in his back pocket. His front elbow up. Takes outside for a ball. And there you go, the tying run on base here as the Sox look to mount a comeback.
Well, what's advantageous for Harrisonburg in this ball game is haven't played a game since the 28th of June. We're a couple days relieved from that. In that game, they only used one arm as the game was suspended after 3 2/3 innings. So it's interesting to see how the Turks will approach this.
Preston Gamster showing bunt. He lays one down. That's down the first base line. The first baseman will go to Jalen Evans covering the bag to get Gamster, but the sacrifice works as intended. Thought for a minute that ball might stay up to where Jaffe could make the catch, but Gamster able to do his job, and the tying run in scoring position for Tanner Shadle here.
So for those of you listening at home, while I'm looking at the Tom Sox dugout right now, I see James Nunnally walking very gingerly with Coach Jim Darren, the physical trainer on the coaching staff for the Sox, and doesn't look too great.
Shadle pops up the first pitch. Jaffe near the line makes the catch. Couldn't really put his glove up towards it. He let the ball come into it and just kind of cradled it. But now there's 2 outs here, and so Patrick Nias is tasked with trying to bring home Hudson Luderman over at second base.
Nias has been a guy that's loved the bright lights of opposing stadiums in big moments, and he's not shied away from it before. 2 go-ahead hits in Waynesboro this season, so.
Here's the first pitch to Patrick. He was definitely sitting fastball. He takes a strike on the outside corner.
See how much Patrick loves the bright lights of Eagle Field, Daniel.
Loaded very early on that last pitch. We'll see if he adjusts here. 0-1, 2 outs. Tom Sox down 9-8 here in the top of the 8th. That ball way outside, and it's 1-1. Patrick Nias, a guy who's from Virginia. He's from Falls Church, but he played high school ball at IMG Academy down in Florida. And now he finds himself a little bit further north here in Charlottesville. Nias hits a high ground ball over to third, snared by Bly, over to first to complete the out. Nice job by Dement, stranding the leadoff walk. And we will head to the bottom of the 8th. Harrisonburg still ahead in this one, up by a run.
Top of the 8th for the Tom Sox.
Brandon Eldridge heads back to the mound here in a crucial 8th inning. Tom Sox down 9-8, but they're just trying to hold the Harrisonburg lead where it is. Eldridge will face Jordan Jaffe. Here's the first pitch to him. Just misses above the zone for a ball. Jaffe in this game, a pair of walks and an RBI single that knocked in 2. Eldridge behind the count here on this righty-righty matchup. Now he's even in it. Answers with the strike on the outside corner. It's been a wild game as the sun is fully set and the lights are on. The bright lights of Eagle Field as Jaffe laid on the fastball, and it's 1-2. The Tom Sox, this is part 1 of a 2-part road trip, and the sequel is tomorrow where they go out to Covington. As Eldridge misses on the slider. That game will be at 6:30 tomorrow. But Harrisonburg is a site that they'll become familiar with in the next couple of weeks or so. They host Harrisonburg on the 5th and then go back there on the 12th. Here's the 2-2. Eldridge deals outside. It's full. Just because of all the rain delays we've had and the postponements and the heat postponements, this is a Tom Sox team that's been forced to play a lot of games on very short notice and with minimal off days. As here's a high drive into left field. Buchanan near the wall, has room, he makes the catch. Probably about the furthest ball we've seen hit. Looked like it might have a chance of getting out of here, but instead it's the first out.
Yeah, Daniel, and I think with the Tom Sox playing every day, they've kind of thrived from that. You know, these guys have succeeded through a lot of adversity this season. I mean, the rough start, some teams would be checked out and they wouldn't really be able to find themselves back at 500, let alone where the Sox are, third in the Southern Division, but they've really bounced back, and honestly, they've thrived playing day after day. So I think it's allowed them to kind of keep momentum together and not have to worry about, guys having off days to throw off their rhythm.
Here's Ty Long, who digs back in and swings and misses at the curveball. This is just his second at-bat. He struck out, pinch hitting for Amari DeJesus back in the 6th. Keeps that front foot a bit off center, holds that bat pretty high up. Trying to think of who his stance reminds me of.
It's on the tip of my tongue, too.
It'll come to me as good curveball there from Brandon Eldridge, and he's ahead in the count 0-2.
From this angle, I'm thinking a little JT Realmuto.
You know who? I got an obscure one that popped into my head. Aristides Aquino, maybe?
Oh, my goodness.
Just off the outside corner, it's 1-2. That guy, I'm a Cubs fan, and he absolutely terrorized us.
He was a world beater for
2
half
weeks.
a season.
Yeah.
Wonder where he is now.
Here's the 1-2 count from Eldridge to Long, and he overthrew the fastball. Evens the count 2-2. Those old Reds teams of the, I say old, but it was, I don't know, probably 5 years ago. I feel like they would just generate one player a year who you'd kind of just vaguely know, and then he would destroy his rival teams.
Derek
Dietrich, I was thinking of that one, as that's off the outside corner as Justin Burton takes off the mask and is going to write something down here. I got to say, we don't have the same view that we do at Cho Airport Field, but from our view here, that looked like called strike 3.
Yeah.
No question.
And again, I think maybe he's thinking about Buc-ee's. I'm not totally sure here. But again, the pausing to write something down, maybe think he wants to add a brisket sandwich to his order.
Yeah.
Alongside beaver nuggets. And maybe a Buc-ee stuffed animal like Jeremy Rose.
Just working up quite the ticket over there. Burton stands kind of off-center of where Brock Clayton is in front of him. So here's the full count pitch. Swung on and missed. Great curveball fooling Long there. And Eldridge picks up another strikeout. That's his second of his outing, and there are 2 away here.
Left fielder, Jackson Schraff.
Jackson Schraff, who scored that tying run in the last inning, will step up here. He led off the 7th with the walk. He was the last batter that Tristan Dietrich faced in this game. First pitch to the big righty, swung on and missed. Eldridge stands at 6'1", 195. Schraff 6'5", 235. So matchup of some large human beings here as he's got that curveball working. Absolutely nasty there at the knees. And it's 0-2. Eldridge just trying to put a scoreless inning in for the Sox to try to reclaim the lead as the fastball misses up and away. A 9-8 contest with the Turks up by 1 over the Tom Sox. 1-2 count, Eldridge fires. Curveball off that outside corner yet again. And it's 2-2.
And again, I would love to know where that pitch missed.
2-2 count. Eldridge versus Schraff. Here's the pitch from Brandon. Curveball just leaks outside. 3-2 count. With Alameus, the catcher, waiting on deck. This is the 5th at-bat for Schraff today. Here's the full count. Fouled away into the screen. Right above the Tom Sox dugout. Collected by Randy Tomlin. Schraff taps the right side of his helmet a couple times and digs in. Eldridge from the stretch. Check swing, that's a sword. He went and was tagged quickly by Clayton, and that gets Eldridge out of the inning. 9-8, Tom Sox trail by 1. They're trying to come back here when we enter the 9th.
Tomorrow evening, 7 o'clock, entertaining the Wings.
Well, we've reached the apex of this game here, and Kyle Langley will lead off at his home ballpark with a chance to tie things up here. Cole Dement still on the mound here for the Turks as the Tom Sox stand down by 1. Langley swings at the first pitch and fouls it straight back. It's Langley, Clayton, and Buchanan scheduled as the 3 up. Cole Dement trying to capture a big win for the Turks. Here's the 0-1. Langley swings and drives it into center field. Trinidad, they hit it right at him. Makes the catch for out number 1. 2 outs to go here for the Tom Sox.
And baseball's really haven't carried today. That was probably one of the, again, further ones we've seen today. We saw one hit pretty well last half inning, and it's just been that kind of day for both teams. They've managed to get their runs off of small balls. Maybe the Sox could do with one here.
With 1 out, here's Brock Clayton. First pitch from Dement is taken outside for a ball. Clayton in this game is 1 for 3 with a strikeout, a pop out, but then a walk and a single in his last 2 at-bats. Trying to put someone on here for the Sox. Here's a ground ball, third base. Bly snares it cleanly, and the Tom Sox are down to their final out. And it looks like they're going to go with the pinch hitter to stay alive. This is Jackson Soroy, who will be filling the spot of the fellow former UVA man Walker Buchanan.
I'd have to assume that if this game were to go to a bottom of the 9th, Kyle Langley and Jackson Soroy would probably swap places. By that I mean positions in the field. Don't believe Jackson Soroy has taken any time in the outfield.
So here is Soroy. Played 1 year at University of Virginia just down the road from here, and now is committed to play up the Potomac with the Maryland Terrapins in the next spring. He's the last chance for the Tom Sox here in this one. First pitch to Jackson is taken outside for a ball. Soroy on the season hitting .207 in 18 games played with 12 hits and 6 RBIs. Guy who's been hitless in his last 2 games. Here's the 1-0 from Dement. Soroy takes one inside, had to back away from it. Soroy, another Virginia kid. He's from Leesburg. He waits here on a 2-0. How aggressive is Jackson going to be? Here's the pitch from Dement. He takes one outside for ball 3.
Gotta say, I don't know where that pitch missed either.
I think the catcher, Alameus, agrees with you. So now it's a 3-0 count. 2 outs. Tom Sox down by 1. Here's the pitch from Dement. And he finds the zone. It's 3-1. Tom Sox in this game have out-hit the Turks 9-6. And Harrisonburg has committed the game's only error. Soroy trying to keep the Sox alive. On the 3-1, he hits a fly ball into shallow center field. Coming in is Trinidad. And he makes the catch. And the Turks win a wild one here at home. The Sox put up a good fight, but in the end, they were not able to get the job done. They fall just short. They led in this game twice, but the Turks end up being the victor here as the final score comes in at 10:10 p.m.
Yeah, and again, it was the case of the walks. When you walk as many guys as the Sox walk today, you don't really win a lot of ball games. Regardless of offensive output, the pitching staff just couldn't find the zone for some portions of the game today. And that's always a rough thing. And, you know, regardless of the self-inflicted mistakes that Harrisonburg made, it really was just Harrisonburg shooting themselves in the foot and waiting for them to straighten themselves out to finally get over the hump and beat the Tom Sox. And these two teams are going to see a lot of each other. And expect these games to be very similar every time because they're two very solid ball clubs that are going to give their all every time they play. And, you know, these guys are very talented players. It's not going to be the last that Harrisonburg and Charlottesville will be in a tight game like it was tonight.
So a tough loss for the Tom Sox, who will now fall below 500 once again. They are 11-12 on the season. The Turks will advance to 15-8 on the year. They're off to a strong first half, but the Tom Sox will continue to play ball. As we mentioned, tomorrow they will go on the road to Covington and then return home for a 3-game homestand, first with Stanton on Military Appreciation Night, and then have the day off for July 4th before Harrisonburg comes to the Cho, and then Winchester visits on the 6th. That's going to do it for our broadcast this evening. I want to thank everyone who's tuned in to this rare away broadcast. Thank you to the people here at Eagle Field for providing us with a home for these last couple hours here. We've had a great night here, and it wasn't the game that the Tom Sox wanted it to be, but still a good experience nonetheless. Tom Sox fall to 11-12 on the season, and will go on the road tomorrow to face Covington. It's going to do it for us here tonight on YouTube. For my partner Luke Stefanisco, I'm Daniel Stein saying